I'm very unsure of myself most of the time, not certain if I'm saying the right things, if I am acting the right way, if I'm even supposed to be here.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Hopefully you're not working too hard. I wanted to do this live. I was inspired to create this video because I read the book Attachment. You need to read the book. I think I have it on my Amazon storefront. Let me double check. I should have looked before I started this live, but you have to get it. You have to get it. Yes. No, it's called Attached. Okay. And it really breaks down the science of adult attachment and how it can help you find and keep love. Now, when everyone mentions love, typically people go for romance first. Love in all areas of your life. It could be love on the job, love with your parents, your siblings, your extended family, a lover, friends, associates, how to create a healthy relationship. And what I find, and personally, I've struggled with this, we care too much. You care too much. And I know that sounds crazy because it's like, oh, well, when you're in a relationship and you share relations with people, right? You want people to care. You would think, right? But there is a time, there is a point where you may care too much. And too much of anything is bad. Too much of anything is bad. So you have to seek balance. So this video is not to make you this cold bitch. It's truly for you to seek balance with being attached and then learning when to detach, or learning when to just simply pull back your energy. Maybe you don't need to detach at all. You just need to pull back your energy. Maybe you're giving too much, or maybe you care too much, or maybe you're giving a person or a situation too much of your energy. Sometimes the caring too much also means giving too much of our energy source away to other people, and then we feel drained, and then we get resentful or we get mad, and some of us may get spiteful, because y'all, I could be a spiteful bitch. I'm for real. Like I can. So I hold myself accountable by not allowing myself to get to that point where I want to be spiteful. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why accountability is important. And also knowing your shadow side. Like, how did I get to this point where I want to be spiteful to this person because I feel resentful, because my energy is drained and I feel like this person either used me, took advantage of me, or just doesn't appreciate and value me. How did we get to this point to where I want to be spiteful? So then you just have to peel back the layers like an onion, and then you get to the root of the situation, and the root of the situation is you care too much. And this is why you losing. This is why you losing. So how can you win? You have to learn how to detach. So I wanted to play this video because this right here, let me see if I can pull it up. It came across my timeline and I knew I wanted to talk about it because I related.
Nobody talks about how painful it is to watch somebody. Nobody talks about how painful it is to watch somebody extend grace to other people and not be able to give it to you. That shit hurts so bad, because at what point am I not worthy of grace? That shit hurts so bad. And it's like, am I unworthy of grace? Am I not a person that deserves it? Because at some point in my life, it's like, oh, like, maybe this person's just not capable of extending grace. And then you watch them do it and do it and do it with everyone else. And then you make a mistake, or you do something, or you guys come to a point where you guys are at a crossroads. The same person that you've seen extend grace to everybody else cannot extend that same grace to you. it just really sucks because at some point you start to feel like you're disposable. And when I feel like I'm disposable, it's like, okay, you know what is the point of even trying to take accountability and be an adult and like have these conversations where it's like we can discuss this crossroad and go to a better place from here, but you don't even extend me the grace to do so. But you can extend everybody else the grace to do so. So many times in my life I've watched people extend grace to other people, but when it came to me, I can't get that. And then I sit there and I pray, and I know that Jesus is extending so much grace to me, and I'm out here trying to extend grace to other people. It would be really shocking because the same person that I extended grace to, they will not extend grace back to me. You did this to me, you did that to me. And I literally sat there, I prayed about it, and it's like, you know what? God, this person, that person, the list goes on. The amount of disrespect and the amount of transgressions that have been made towards me, it's like, you know what? This person probably might be dealing with this. This person might be dealing with that. You know, this person I make excuses for every single person, and when it comes time for me to be extended that same grace, you can't do it. I'm tired of feeling like I'm disposable. Like, I'm really tired of it. Like, that shit sucks. It absolutely sucks.
Okay, so 2 things. Either sis needs to step into her villain era, or sis needs to reflect on her own behavior and how she shows up in relationships. Now, could this be colorism? Of course. Could this be a black woman just experiencing life? Absolutely, because that's the black woman's plight. Could this also be that she picks horrible friends? Could be. Could this be that she has a pattern of this occurring in her life and she may need to do some reflective work on, okay, if this is a consistent pattern in my life, I may be the problem. Possibly. I'm not sure. I don't know her situation enough to really know what it could be, but let's talk about the different things that it could be. So it could be colorism. And I've talked about this too. Surround yourself around people who truly appreciate you and value you, not people who tolerate you. A lot of times we confuse being appreciated or supported with just simply being tolerated. So know when you're being tolerated. I've experienced this. I had to come to the realization in past friendships that I was receiving pity and people were tolerating me, but they didn't really appreciate me. They didn't see the friendship that we had as valuable. They really did see it as disposable because they didn't see value in me as a person. They didn't appreciate the person that I was. So because of that, I had to learn how to understand the difference between someone really supporting and caring versus someone truly just tolerating me or giving me pity because of something that I may be going through. So it could be colorism. And again, that could translate into the black woman's plight of, we deal with a lot of microaggression and we deal with it in very subtle ways. It's very passive. It's very indirect. And so sometimes we don't always peep it up front, or we have to think about it later when we're alone and we think about how something made us uncomfortable or it activated our nervous system. And so we're thinking back to that moment that made us feel uncomfortable and we're like, and so we second guess, was that microaggression? Was that racism? Was it this? Was it that? Was it misogyny? Like, we have to think about a lot of different things. Were we being stereotyped? Was that prejudice? We have to always second guess some of our experiences because of how we're seen and how we're treated in society. So it could be that as well, that maybe she's just wasn't giving grace because she's a black woman. That happens a lot. And then also, it could be that she picks horrible friends. And a lot of times we are so eager to be people's friends that we don't even consider if they're a good fit for us. Like, we're just so focused on, and we're so hell bent on wanting to be friends with someone, or even taking it a step further, being a people pleaser and just wanting to be the best of friends with this person by us showing up and being the best friend in the friendship. And so a lot of times our needs are not met and we're truly not seen in that friendship or in that relationship. So you have to be careful about who you're creating those connections with, who you're creating those friendships with. You may care too much. You may care too much about being friends with that person. And so it's putting you in the position where you're getting the shortest end of the stick, where now that it's time for you to receive grace and you're not getting that grace. And so you probably care too much. And then lastly, if you have a pattern of people feeling the need to distance themselves after you do something, or maybe you made a mistake, whatever the case may be, but they feel the need to distance themselves, it could possibly be you. You would have to sit with yourself and truly reflect, is this a consistent pattern that happens whenever I go out and create relationships? Because if it is, then most likely it is you. Because if you're making connections with people and you're making a connection with Susan over here, Sally over here, and Ryan over here, and they don't even know each other, but yet you still are treated the same, or you have a very similar experience, the only common denominator is you in that dynamic. So at that point, you would have to do some work on yourself, because if these three people don't know each other, but you're still having very similar experiences when it comes to people just feeling the need to distance themselves from you, you could very well be the problem. Okay. So I wanted to share the video because I did create a video on my TikTok responding to this girl. Oh, I downloaded the wrong video. Responding to this girl about why she may feel this way. And to be honest, I have been on both sides of this situation. I just want to make that clear. I've been on the side where grace was not extended to me. And then I've been on the side where I did not extend grace. And it was because I felt the need to protect myself. So that required me to choose myself over extending grace to someone else. And it came down to, we're grown, and most people in grown adulthood, like by now, you should have a good level of self-awareness to where you should know how you're coming across to people. And it's even scarier if you're the type of person where you don't know how you're coming across to people. So that means you don't even know when you're hurting people, when you're draining people. You don't even know when you're putting your problems on other people, and then you're making other people carry your problems as if they are their own, when really they're your problems, and you're putting that on other people. And a lot of people think that they can make up for that, where they put their problems on other people, and they feel like they can make up for that by taking them out to dinner, or giving them money, or doing this or doing that. But there's an emotional tax that comes with putting your problems on another person and then expecting for that person to take it on. There's an emotional tax that is associated with that people don't even tend to discuss or talk about. Meaning that person now has to carry the burdens, the emotional burdens that comes with you forcing them to take on your problems as if your problems are their own. And that's not fair to them. So let me play this video really quick.
Nobody talks about how painful it is to watch somebody extend grace to other people and not be able to give it to you. That shit hurts so bad, because at what point am I not worthy of grace? That shit hurts so bad.
Okay, did I play the right video? Wait a minute. Okay, here we are. I'm sorry, y'all.
Nobody talks about how painful it is to watch somebody extend grace to other people.
I wanted to talk about this because I've been on both sides of this. I've been on the side where grace wasn't extended, and then I've been on the side where I didn't extend grace. So let me talk about the side where I didn't get the grace. So the time where I didn't get the grace, it was because it was not meant for me to get. And it was because the people that I wanted the grace from were not for me. And so the reason why I didn't get the grace was because said people were supposed to be removed from my life. If they would have given me grace, then they would have stayed in my life. So I'm not sure what the situation is with this girl in this video. It could be a classic case of colorism. It could be just a black woman experiencing the world as is. It could also be that she's going through growing pains where she's coming to the realization that the people she's been hanging around are just not good friends to her. Before I go a little bit deeper into this, I also want to highlight too that sometimes when you're expecting certain things from certain people and they are not able to give them to you, it's truly for a reason. You have to believe that when something doesn't go in your way, it doesn't mean that it's putting you at a disadvantage. It could be for your best or for your highest good. But if you're taking everything negatively, like every little thing that doesn't go your way, you're chalking it up as a negative experience, then you're going to view it as a negative experience. So just like me, where I talked about here in this video, where I said, oh, same thing happened to me, but how I took it was, okay, this person doesn't want to extend grace to me. All right, well then they're not meant for me. They're not meant to be in my life. And the reason I made that connection was because if you're not going to give me grace and you're going to go and the situation was, you're going to believe what another person has told you about me over coming to me and asking me for my side of things. So that means you weren't willing to give me grace by coming and hearing my side of the story or the situation. Then that means that you weren't for me. You're not supposed to be in my life, because a person who is supposed to be in my life would seek me out and be like, hey, so I was told this and I was told that, and I just wanted to know, like, what happened? Let me get your side of things, because I'm just so confused. I feel like I'm just caught in the middle. I don't really know what's going on. But that was not given to me. So because that wasn't given to me, I didn't internalize it as like this negative thing. I internalized it as, okay, this person is not for me. Because someone that's for me would want to know my side of the story, or would want to know my side of things. But again, this is a very broad conversation. So if someone is not extending grace to you and you know you didn't do anything wrong, you know that you weren't in the wrong at all, then it's truly because that person is not meant to be in your life. They're not truly for you, and you have to accept that. But you wanting them to give you grace, you want them to come around and be on your side because you need that validation. You care too much. You care too much about what they think. You care too much about how they view you. You care too much. And then this is why you feel the way that you feel. You feel in lack. You feel incompetent. You feel unworthy. You feel undeserving. And if you would just detach, then you wouldn't have all of these internalized feelings about what someone is choosing not to do. You would just move on with your life, maybe learn from the experience and elevate so that you can walk around with your head held high and say, you know what, that was something that I did. That person wasn't willing to give me grace. So now I'm going to move forward and carry myself as a better person. Like, that's the whole point. But if you're going to sit and just sit in victimhood and internalize things as, no one is willing to give me grace, I'm so undeserving. That's the reality that you're creating for yourself. You could create a whole new reality, but the reality you're choosing to create is victimhood. I'm a victim. No one gives me grace. No one cares. I feel like I'm just so disposable. And that's the mindset. That is the reality that you're creating. And that's a choice that you're making. You don't have to create that reality for yourself. And I've said this so many times that you don't have to take what people give you. It's a choice. You can reject whatever you don't want to be given. So if people want to give you the experience of not giving you grace, right? You can take the experience that they're giving you, or you can reject that experience. So I decided to reject that experience and create a new reality and tell myself that that person is not for me, because I knew deep down I didn't do anything wrong. So I released it. Now, say I did do something wrong, because we're not perfect, right? Sometimes when we are in relationships with people, we do make mistakes. Sometimes we do fall short. Like, that's part of being human and having a human experience. So say it was that I did something wrong and they were not willing to give me grace. I would accept that. And I would just say that, you know what, when it comes to me making mistakes, there are consequences that come with that. And if that person is not willing to look past it, give me grace, or is not willing to give me a second chance, I just have to accept it for what it is. And I have to move on and make sure that I show up better. Because a lot of times we're insecure about mistakes that we make because we're not willing to make the corrections. We're not willing to make the improvements. We're still the same person. But see, if you've made mistakes in your past, but you've leveled up, you've elevated, you've improved yourself, you've worked on yourself. What is there really to be insecure about? Because you're not the same person that you once were. And if you have this level of detachment where you're not attaching yourself to other people and their opinions and whether or not you receive validation from them, then what are you really harboring within yourself? Nothing. There's nothing for you to really feel bad about or for you to feel insecure about, because A, you're not the same person. You have elevated, you have improved, and B, you're not seeking their validation. And then they're judging you based off of a past version of yourself. They're outdated. The situation is outdated. This is who you are now. That is who you used to be. But a lot of people are not able to move past their mistakes because they haven't changed much. If you change, there's nothing to be insecure about. If you change, if you improve, there's nothing for you to carry when it comes to your mistakes. You have to let those mistakes go through your improvement, your personal development, and just becoming a better person. So there's nothing to think negatively about when it comes to yourself. You're choosing that reality for yourself. The reality you could choose is taking that situation as a learning experience, using that as a tool to improve and move forward, and then create new relationships and just be a better person in those relationships, so you can stop the pattern of people feeling like they can't give you grace or they shouldn't extend grace, or now you feel disposable. You stop that pattern completely because you're showing up as a better person in the relationships that you're creating.
A good friend to her. And then it could be that she has a pattern of people not wanting to extend grace to her. I'm not really sure, but like I said, I've been on the side where people don't extend grace to me, and typically these type of people are just not meant to be in your life, and you have to accept that. You have to accept it for what it is, and then you have to turn around and then give yourself said grace. A lot of times we look for things in other people instead of giving what we need to ourselves over wanting someone else to give us what we need. We know how to, well, you should, through self-care, you should know what you need more than anybody. And then you should be able to give yourself that.
So there's a lot of talk on social media about self-love and self-care, but a lot of people just say it, but they don't really know what it means and what it serves in your life. So a lot of times it's our parents, friends, it could even be our man, whoever. We expect for them to give us things that we can give ourselves. We expect that. I saw a video, a meme that I think I posted on my second Instagram, where this man was sitting down and he was saying how most people look for someone to come into their life and bring them peace. And peace is something that you should already have within yourself. You're waiting on someone to come into your life and give you peace when you can create it on your own. We are so codependent on other people giving us things as if we cannot give it ourselves. And I get it. Like, you want people to come in and you want people to care about you. You want people to nurture you. You want people to be there for you. And that's fine. But when you rely on it, when you're codependent on whether or not that person is coming into your life to do this and do that, and then you sit there as if you can't do it for yourself, is insane. It is insane. That remind me of the video that I did where that one lady was like, she works with people that are overweight, and she was basically saying, just lift up your leg, lift up your leg. But because of the victimhood, they couldn't lift up their leg because they were like, oh, I need Jesus to come and help me lift up my leg, as if they're not capable of doing that for themselves. Every time you give other people power, you disempower yourself. You disempower yourself. You're waiting on other people to give you grace when you could give yourself grace. You're waiting for other people to come in and give you happiness when you can create the happiness within yourself. You're waiting on other people to come in and give you peace when you can create the peace within yourself. You're waiting on people to give you love when you can love yourself. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do that you can generate within yourself, but you're waiting for someone else to give you that. And then sometimes when it comes to our parents, I have said this and I will say this again, you're waiting on your parental figure to give you something that they can't give because it was never given to them. And see, in order for you to break that pattern, you have to give what they weren't able to give to you. You're going to have to give that to yourself, so then you can give it to your children. That's how that works. That is how that works. Someone in your bloodline has to do it. Because you could continue on, you could go have kids, right? And then you could say, well, my parents, they didn't give me that. Because typically that's how it's gone so far down the bloodline. But when you're a cycle breaker, you see and you peep and you say, oh, so I have to give myself the things that my parents are not able to give me because they didn't give it to themselves. Their parents didn't give it to them. So then I have to give myself those things. And if I don't, then I will just continue the cycle, and then it will go on and it will trickle on down to my children. So who's going to stop it? Is it going to be me? It has to be. Because I'm at a level where I'm like, oh, so I'm waiting on my parents to give me this and give me that. And they literally can't, because they're not even aware that what they can't give themselves that wasn't given to them by their parents, right? Well, they feel like they can't give themselves what their parents didn't give them, but they can. But they're not aware of that though. But you are. So then you give yourself what your parents can't give you instead of waiting on them. Or worse, I see this a lot. I see a lot of people get upset with their parents a lot. Like, oh, my parents are not like this, and they're not like that, and they're not like this. You care too much. You do. You care too much because you want them to be who you want them to be. You want them to be who you want them to be. And that's it. And that's all you have room for. You don't have room for them to be who they are. And they're imperfect. Like, your parents are regular people. They're not like this. And I know whenever you think of an authoritative figure, you think, oh, they're supposed to be perfect. They're supposed to have all the answers. But newsflash, when you reach adulthood, you realize nobody know anything. Everybody is just out here winging this shit. And you're just now coming to the realization that everybody is winging it. Then you come to the realization that your parents did too. So it's like, oh, so they're like regular. Yeah, they're regular people with issues. Let's not downplay that. With issues, but they are. They're regular people with issues. So you are so attached to who you want them to be. And that's what's causing that resentment. Like that's what's causing you to dislike them strongly, is because you can't let go of who you want them to be and just accept them for who they are. And when you accept people for who they are, right, that still comes with boundaries. But also it puts you in a position where you're not going to put yourself in a position with them to have certain conversations because you know better. Like, you're not going to talk about certain things with your parents because you know how they're going to respond. You already know what they're going to say. You already know they're not going to change their mind. You already know that they're stuck in their ways. So why would you even have that conversation with them? Why would you even bring that subject up to them when you already know who they are? People who do that, it's truly because you're fixated on who you want them to be, and they're never going to be that. So when you accept people for who they are, you avoid certain subjects. You avoid certain conversations because they're not going to lead anywhere but a fight, but a disagreement, but I'm storming out of the room. So because of that, you're like, okay, let me avoid having these discussions, talking about these things, bringing up this subject. If someone brings up the topic, change the topic because you already know where it's going to lead. Because you have accepted them for who they are instead of holding it against them for who you want them to be versus who they are. So you're no longer holding who you want them to be against them. You're just accepting them for who they are. And then you're learning how to have a relationship with them if you choose to. Because again, that's a choice. Some parents, I watched this one woman call her daughter out her name. Absolutely not. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not. Parents being disrespectful, calling you out your name, verbal abuse, no. I don't feel like that's someone that you should stay in the contact with. So it just depends. But to the people where it's strictly just you don't see eye to eye with your parents, and it's because you want them to be this way, but this is who they really are. It's truly because you have not accepted your parents for who they are, and then just learning to just have a relationship just based off of who they are, which means you may not be able to have certain conversations with them. You may not be able to do certain things with them. You may not be able to hang out with them all weekend because they will trigger you. So you got to learn how to create the relationship that serves you, instead of trying to create a relationship that truly serves this idea or this fantasy that you have when it comes to your parental figure. That is what I'm saying. So it's just wising up, and it's learning how to create relationships that will serve you and that will be healthy for you. And it may not mirror what you see on TV, in commercials, movies. It may not be what you see when it comes to other people's parents and the relationships that they have with their parents. It may be totally different, but guess what? It serves you though. It serves your relationship and it serves your life. And so that's what you need to focus on. But you care too much about who you want your parents to be, and that is not who they are. And so it keeps you in this losing state with them, and you're always arguing, you're always into it with them, and then you feel the need to distance yourself, not come around, and things like that. And it's just, you have to get to a point where you are just accepting them for who they are and learning how to have a relationship with who they are. And like I said, you may not be able to have certain conversations with them, and you may not be able to hang out with them all the time. You may only be able to hang out with them for a day. You may only be able to talk to them maybe once or twice a month. You know, everyone's situation is going to be different, but make sure you create that relationship based off of how it serves you and not how you think it should be or how you think it should look, or what a mother-daughter relationship should look like, or a father-daughter relationship should look like, or a mother-son relationship should look like, or a son-father relationship should look like. That may not be your reality. It may look totally different. Again, when it comes to your life and when it comes to you being the main character in your life, you are the creator as well. So if you know that you've been dealt this hand, your mother is not the best communicator, she's not emotionally available, your father has never really been there, your siblings too, like maybe you haven't been dealt the best hand. Co-create with that. Learn how to facilitate those relationships in a way that truly serves you, instead of putting expectations on them that they will never meet in their lifetime because they don't have it in them to do it. Okay? So there's a level of detachment that comes with this. And so you care too much. Like, you want them to be better. You want them to be able to communicate better, but they literally do not have it in them. The expectations that you place on them are not realistic for them at all. And that's something that you have to accept. You have to accept them for who they are. So, and that's another thing when it comes to this conversation, is a lot of times we struggle with just accepting things and people and situations for just what they are, because we don't know how to just detach. We don't know how to just separate ourselves. We don't even know how to remove our feelings from a person, a situation, or a thing. We know how to latch on. We know how to get in it with the situation or the person and feel very deeply about it. And then we'll allow it to stress us out. We will allow it to grow and fester in us to the point where we're stressed and mad. And that's when you know you care too much. When you're stressed and you're mad, and it's just a burden that now you're carrying with you over your life. And it's, again, a reality that you're choosing to create when you can create a different reality where it's lighter. It's not stressful. You're creating peace in your life. So it's just something that you're going to have to work on, and you're going to have to let go of what you think your siblings should be, what you think your parents should be, what you think your grandmother should be. Like, you got to let go of those ideas and those fantasies, and you have to focus on what's in front of you and how you can make that work for you and co-create with that instead of working against yourself. Because honestly, that's what you're doing. You're kind of just working against yourself. It's like working backwards. It's like, no, go with the grain, not against the grain.
But then let me talk about the other side of this. Like, I've been on the other side where I did not extend grace to said individuals, and the reason was because a lot of people who you extend grace to, a lot of times, like, they take you as a fool. And so sometimes you just get caught up in between a time in a person's life where they've been played so much. Like, they have been played with so much when it comes to giving grace to said individual. You could have just gotten caught up in that.
So the whole grace thing, right? People pleasers, come to the front. We tend to go out of our way to please other people. So what do? We forgive. We give grace. Time and time and time and time again. To the point where we get burnt out. So it eventually comes to a head where we just get burnt out. Because we feel unappreciated. We feel disrespected. We feel like people are just taking advantage of us. People are using us. People are not really caring about how we feel, our feelings, how their behavior affects us at all. And so it just gets to a point where we've reached burnout. And I've reached that in my life when it comes to people. I don't want to feel like I have to give you grace or I have to give you the benefit of the doubt. We are grown adults. We are not children. We are grown. And I have learned that I have to accept people for who they are. Not for who I want them to be. Not for who I see they could be, like through potential, like only focusing on the good in people. I have to accept people for who they are and where they are right now in this moment. And that's part of me detaching from people pleasing and me caring too much about people to the point where my feelings and emotions are always put on the back burner to make other people feel good about themselves. I just got tired of that. And honestly, it's gone unappreciated for years. So again, the girl in the video originally was saying how she saw this person give this person grace and this person grace and this person grace. But we don't know what actually happened though with her giving all of those different people grace and how that may impacted her. It could have impacted her negatively to the point where she just reached grace burnout, where she's just like, I just don't have it to give. I don't have it to give. I don't have it to give. And so she may be in the season of her life where she's preserving her energy. And she's just choosing not to give grace because it has backfired or it has led her to feel like she was not appreciated or people could just get over on her. So she just decided to pull back. A lot of times when people make certain choices and decisions, we like to take them personally, but it may not have nothing to do with you at all. It just may be just where she is currently right now in this moment in her life. She just does not want to give you grace. And it may have nothing to do with what you did. It may not have even been that serious, but it was serious enough to where she felt the need to pull back though. But again, it may not be as big of a deal as you're making it and you're taking it personally. And again, this is when you care too much. This is when you know you care too much. You can't always take what people do that when it truly is a choice that they're making that they feel is right for them, you can't always take what's right for another person, take it personally as if it's a negative for you. It just may be, you know what, we're just not we're not on the same page, or we're just not seeing eye to eye, and it's because we're just not at the same place in life. It doesn't mean that just because they're doing what's best for them, you take it as a knock to you. And it's, again, back to being insecure, not knowing how to basically give yourself grace and not take everything personal and internalize things to the point where you feel like you're just this horrible person. You may not be a horrible person. It's just you're in two different places. She's in this place in life. She done gave everybody and their mama grace. And so now when it got to you, it's just unfortunate that when it got to you, she was just like, oh, I just can't give it. I can't. I don't have it to give. And then you should just take that as, you know what? I respect that. I did make a mistake. And you know what? I'm going to just have to take that on and move on with my life. But when you care too much, you fixate on it. And you know what you start to do? You start to pick apart yourself. That's a sign of low self-esteem. Now you're picking yourself apart. And then she could be in her house just thinking, I'm just preserving my energy, trying to protect my peace and protect my energy. And here you are over here thinking it's the end of the world. I'm this horrible person. And it's like, stop doing that to yourself. Like, why are we doing that? It wasn't even that serious, but why are we doing that? But that tells me that you have to start working on yourself. Like, seriously. And how? You have to know yourself. And you have to know your shadow and your light. You can't just know yourself at your best. You have to know yourself at your worst as well. Because then you'll be able to measure, okay, based off of this experience, was I truly in the wrong? Is it something that I need to work on? Should I take away from this experience and work on myself and do some personal development? Or is this a situation where she's just in that space in her life and I'm just in this space in my life and I need to just move on with my life and just respect her choice? You have to be the type of person where you know yourself so well, you'll know what's the right choice and decision for you when it comes to a crossroad like this. Because not every single time this happens to you, it's something that you did wrong. It could be simply just because that is where that person is in their life and you're taking it the wrong way and you're taking it personally and it was never intended for you to take it that way. Okay? So keep that in mind. This is a large platform. So again, I don't know, what side you may fall on, but just keep that in mind, like not to take every little thing so personally.
And so you are now caught up in the middle of what a person is currently trying to get away from when it comes to their past behaviors and how they showed up in relationships where they've extended grace to someone and then that person played in their face. And so it may not have anything to do with you at all. It may just be where this person is in life versus where you are in life, and you two are just in two totally different places. And again, it goes back to you accepting things for what they are and accepting people for where they are in life versus where you are in life and just being okay with that. It's not always, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. The only time I can 100% say it's you is when you have a consistent pattern of people not wanting to extend grace to you. Like if you have a consistent pattern where people don't feel the need to give you grace when it comes to your behavior or when it comes to your flaws or when it comes to your mistakes, it's probably because it's something that you're doing in these relationships that is causing people to not want to extend grace to you. They probably feel the need to protect themselves from you, and it could be emotionally. Because if they give you grace, then that means they have to open themselves back up emotionally and take the risk or take the chance that you're going to put them in a bad place again emotionally. And what a lot of people don't understand, when you give someone grace and then the grace that you give them, it backfires and it blows up in your face, that takes a mental toll on that person. And so some people have to kind of measure situations like, oh, are they worth me taking the risk to give them grace, or are they not worth the risk? And a lot of times it can come down to, well, how long have you known this person? How have they showed up in your life? Have they been consistent in how they have shown up in your life? There's a lot that goes into these decisions. And so sometimes we have to take a step back and see things from a different perspective. And like I said, I've been on both sides. Like I've been on the side where I wasn't extending grace at all. Like people didn't call me to ask for my side of things. People just took the other person's side of the situation, didn't even ask me at all. And then I've also been on the other side where I decided not to extend grace at all. And like I said, it had a lot to do with my mental health and protecting myself mentally from their ways and their behavior and their lack of self-awareness. So it just depends. Every situation is different, but look at it from a different perspective.
Okay. And I also want to add that just because you don't show up your best in a situation or relationship, it doesn't mean that you're this horrible person. It just means you need to work on yourself. Like, that's it. That is it. That is it. If you want to sit in your self-pity about how you're this horrible person, then that, again, is your victimhood. Okay? That is victimhood. You just need to improve yourself. That is it. And then people may try to hold it against you, because that's just what people like to do. They like to bring up things from the past. But again, it won't be true because it's not true according to who you are today. So that's why you should work on yourself, okay? There have been plenty of times where I have not shown up my best. I didn't put my best foot forward. And I took that as a learning lesson to improve. So then if I ever came back into a situation like that, I could show up better. And so I'm all about redemption, y'all. Like you have the ability to show up better. It's just a choice, but you got to get out of that victimhood mentality. Oh, I'm worthless. I'm not a good person. I'm horrible. I shouldn't. You got to get out of that. You got to get out of that. There's still things that you have to believe that there are things about you that are truly worthy. It's just you're not a perfect person, and that's okay. Okay, so Chrissy is saying, so this to me kind of reminds me of what I was referring to with in the beginning of this video, that you may not pick the best friends. And so she's saying, yes, I used to support and show up at all the functions, new businesses and parties. But once I invited them over to my new home with notice, everyone was too busy at the time. So that one time. So what I will say with that is typically when these type of things happen, it's truly, truly, truly to show you that those people were not for you. Okay. And I hate life is like this. Okay. Typically you don't know when people are truly for you until you know. And typically it's always at the worst of times. It's always meaning like your wedding day. You know what I mean? Meaning like your graduation, your birthday. Like it's always gonna be at a moment in your life. It's just how it works. You lost a parent or you lost a sibling. It's always when it's the most inconvenient times, okay? And it could be during a celebratory moment, during a grieving moment, during a health scare or a health issue. It's always going to be at the most inconvenient times. Okay. So because of that, you have to understand that when it occurs, because it's going to occur, that is what that is. It could be once you get married. It could be after you get divorced. It's always going to be at an inconvenient time in your life. And when it pops up, instead of creating a negative reality, create a positive reality by saying, you know what? This happened for a reason. As I step into this new season in my life, they're not supposed to go with me. Okay? That's typically how it goes. And so, Chrissy, in my opinion, in my humbling opinion, when I look back over something like that, they didn't come into your new home. You don't want energy like that in your personal space. You don't. You want good energy. And I had a very similar experience. I will never forget. I went out to brunch with some old friends. And after brunch, we were at the brunch table and everyone was supposed to meet up back at my place to freshen up, pregame, and then we were going to go back out again. They never showed up. And the reason they never showed up was because there was a jealous individual in the bunch and she had talked them out of coming to my place because she was insecure about how I was living versus how she was living. And so she didn't want people to see how I was living because of how she was living. And so she had talked them out of coming to my place. But I thank her so much because I did not need that phony, fake energy in my personal space. Because at the time, I didn't even know they was fake and phony. I found out after the fact. But I'm glad that she did that. And so you have to learn how to utilize situations that are meant to like be a knock or meant to give you like this negative emotion or experience. You have to learn how to allow those things to actually work for you instead of working against you. So again, I could have taken the experience that she was trying to give me, like making me feel left out, or I could just take the experience and say, you know what, thank you for doing that because I don't want that type of energy in my home. So just keep that in mind. Let's move on to this because this is another one as well.
The secret to this shit, sister, is really just walking away from anything that doesn't serve you. If it's a job, if it's a man, if it's a friend, whatever the fuck it is, the moment that you feel like it's not serving you no more and there's no fixing in it, you just gotta walk away.
Now, a lot of people take what she's saying and they try to twist it into something that's toxic, like just cutting people off with no explanation, or cutting people off and not really communicating, cutting people off and just doing it just because you can. That's not what she's saying. She's saying when you get to that point where you're realizing it's not serving you, meaning you've communicated, meaning you may have given grace, maybe you even given them a second chance, but then you find yourself back at it at square one again with this person or with the situation, then that's when you know you need to let it go. That's when you know. If I find myself in a situation where, and I'm down to 2, I used to give people 3 tries. And I don't even do that no more. You only have 2 tries with me. And depending on the situation, 1. Okay? Depending on what you do, 1. But first time we have an issue, I communicate and I expect correction. If we come back for a second time, depending on what it is, I could be done. Seriously, I could just be done with the second one. Because now I'm coming to the realization, and really I'm just gonna have to read the temperature. You know, I'm a very spiritual person, so it just depends on the energy exchange. It just depends on my discernment. You know, what my discernment is telling me, what spirit is telling me, what God is telling me, and that's how I'm gonna decide how I'm gonna handle the situation. But if I get this push that this does not serve me, I'm leaving that situation alone. I'm not going to put myself back in that situation. And a lot of times, one thing that I noticed about women, we don't know how to let things go. We don't. And the reason is because we attach ourselves onto things and we hold on to things very tightly and we don't know how to let things go. And you know what else it does? It messes with our intuition when we do that because we don't trust ourselves. When you hold on to things tightly, you don't trust yourself. You do not trust yourself. So one thing that I learned, and I talked about this, and I'll play the video here in a sec. I talk about how women will, in relationships, they think that their feelings are the truth. And the reason you don't know how to decipher between your feelings and your intuition is because you don't know how to let things go. When you let things go, and then it comes back to you, that's your intuition. But how will you know if it's your intuition or not if you don't let it go? You have to learn how to release. You have to learn how to release. So a lot of times you'll find women confusing their feelings for the truth of a situation, the truth of a person, the truth of a problem. And the whole time it's just their feelings. Now listen, your feelings are valid, right? But that doesn't mean that it's always facts though. Your feelings are one thing, and it's how you feel about the situation, right? And then the truth or the facts of the situation are something else. Now, sometimes in life, they could be aligned, sometimes not. But I always find in women that have a distorted feminine intuition, it's truly because you don't know how to let things go. And then if it's meant for you to know, or if it's meant for you to find out, it will literally come back to you like a boomerang. It will literally just come right back. So one thing that I like to do is I let it go. If it comes back, then I know it's something I needed to know. If I come into a situation where I'm still unsure, like say I let it go and it comes back, and maybe I'm just in denial about it. I'm like, no. So then I let it go for a second time, and it comes back on a third time. I'm like, okay. All right. And this is how I be finding out stuff. People be like, how do you be finding out stuff? I let go. And if it's bugging me, because that's one thing about a woman. You don't understand how beautiful you are. See, the world that we live in, we think beauty is just in the physical. Beauty is in how you operate, how your body naturally operates as a woman. And so if you understand the beauty within, then you trust yourself and you trust your intuition, and you don't live in fear by holding on to things for dear life, because you know the beauty within yourself, and you know you trust yourself because of the beauty within yourself, aka your intuition. So you don't live in fear and you live in scarcity where you just have to hold on to every emotion that you feel and all of these feelings that you carry. You let it go. And so you cleanse your plate when it comes to your intuition. So then when something comes back on the plate, you're like, oh, so you lied to me. It's literally like that. I'm telling you, try it out. Try it out. But if you're the type of person where you struggle with literally like letting it go, how do you know you're letting it go? It's not in your head anymore. Hell, you done forgot about it. And then it pops back up. Try it out. I'm telling you, try it out. If it pops back up, then you know that's your intuition. I think I did a video. It was a lunch break combo. It's on my Patreon where I talked. The whole live stream is truly about how to know when it's your intuition. And it has a lot to do with your self-identity. So tap into that. I'll make sure to repost it if you are a Patreon member. It's probably one of my most popular lunch break combos, but I'll make sure to pin it towards the top, okay?
That's the secret to this life shit. And they bamboozled us. They tricked us into thinking that we gotta stay in places that we don't want to be.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If it's robbing you of your peace, bitch, walk the fuck away. Free yourself. You are not trapped anywhere. When you stay in places that are not serving you, you are literally robbing yourself of your mental sanity. You really just gotta be willing to come up off anything. I don't care if you've been married to the nigga for 20 years. At the 20th year and the 10th day in, if you decide it's not in alignment, you have to be willing to walk away. And nobody's going to tell you that. They're going to tell you, oh, well, you've been with him for 20 years. Fuck that. Men will literally abuse you.
Now, I know she's speaking on men, but y'all, this is a life lesson. People always want to know, what is my biggest kept secret? My biggest kept secret is I'm not afraid to let things go. I'm not afraid to let things go. I don't care what it is, y'all. It could be this apartment. It could be this computer that I'm recording on right now. It could be my camera, I'm not afraid to let anything go. Never afraid to let anything go. And the reason is because in life, I have learned that when you hold on to things, and this is coming from a girl that used to be labeled a pack rat. Like my parents would literally like, oh my God, you just always keep every little thing. And I used to be that type of person. I would keep every little thing. I just didn't want to get rid of nothing. And you would go to my room, it would be so junky because I would just hold on to every little thing. But I learned that when you hold on to things like that, you live in scarcity, you live in fear, you don't have faith. As much as you think you do, you don't. You don't really trust. And you don't trust in the unseen or the unknown. You only trust in what you can see and what you can feel and what experiences you've currently occurred, but you don't believe in what's unseen and what's unknown. You don't even think that positive things are out there or more things are out there or better things are out there. Typically, people who can let things go knows that good things will always find them. More opportunities will always find them. You can't be afraid to let things go. I also used to be the type of person too where I would hold on to jobs. Like literally, y'all, I would be at jobs for the longest. That's why I've gotten fired twice. And it's because I wasn't going to leave that job. So God had to fire me to get me to move on and like step out my comfort zone. And like, girl, you've been working here for so long, girl, you could go get a different job or a new job. But I had that mindset of fear. Like I was fear of change. I was fearful of new. I always thought new or change was bad. Like I didn't think new or change could be a great thing for me. And it's always been a great thing for me. Like even when the experience on the surface was bad, underneath it was good because it was pushing me to grow. And so I just am not afraid to let things go. I don't care if it's friendships. I don't care if it's a man. I don't care if it's distance when it comes to certain friends, family members. Maybe the distance is needed to break a cycle or to break a pattern that I currently share with you. I don't care what it is, because honestly, in order for you to truly elevate in life, you have to let go. And you have to allow yourself to truly be guided. And you can't be guided if you're weighing yourself down and holding on to the past. And typically, past things always come with old energy. So it's very simple. Like, you could go back to your childhood home. You could pick up something that you used to play with when you were a kid. Maybe even like some high school stuff. There's energy that's still associated with that. Energy that is associated with the past version of yourself that no longer exists. But imagine you holding on to that and taking that with you and carrying that with you. You're literally carrying the energy of your past self with you everywhere you go. So that means if you're carrying the old energy from your past self with you, what room and space are you creating for a new version of yourself? So a lot of times I see people who live in the glory days. Nothing has really changed in their life because they can't let go of what was to create something of what it could be or what could be new. So you're holding on to what was and you're taking that with you. And it's like you're not really creating or allowing space to happen in your life where you can create something new. So you're just carrying all of this old energy. So one thing I like to do is, and this is just based off of my level up journey, is whenever I feel stagnant or whenever I feel stuck in life, I declutter. I literally will go through my home and just get rid of things that I feel don't serve me anymore. Clothes, just things that I keep, and I just donate them and I let it go. Every time I do this, that stagnancy, that feeling stuck is completely lifted off of my life and I'm able to push forward and elevate. If I were to hold on to those things, then I'm not even creating the space for new things to come in because I keep holding on to that old energy. And sometimes you just need to spruce up your space. You need to really rebrand your life, and it starts with decluttering. You got to learn how to let things go. This is materialistically. This is romantically. Like, some of you won't let go of your sneaky link. You won't let go of your friends with benefits. You know you want a committed relationship, but you're not even willing to let those relationships go to create room for something committed. Then it could be friends. You know those girls don't like your ass. I don't even know why you keep hanging out with them. But because you're afraid to let those girls that you know don't like you, you're not even making room for friends to come in that actually like you. They like your weirdness. They like your quirkiness. They like your spiritual stuff that you're into. But you keep hanging around the girls that think all that shit is weird to them. So you're staying with them because maybe a past version of yourself, maybe you weren't even into all of that, but now you're into that and they just think it's weird. They're not really accepting of that. And so you keep hanging around them. So it's like, girl, you have to create the space for new to come into your life. You can't expect for it to just happen. You have to make room for it, literally. And then also, sometimes when it comes to our work environment, we're afraid to let go. And listen, in times like this, with the recession, people are not hiring or anything like that. You always have to believe God is going to come through for you. That's how breakthroughs happen. You have to believe that the most randomest opportunity, it's just going to pop up in your life and it's going to be a miracle. And like, people who think like this, right? People who operate like this, they call us lucky. They say, oh my God, she gets everything that she wants. Oh my God, like everything just comes so easy for her. And it's because we're delusional. Like, we really are. I'm in my house cleaning. I'm doing the spring cleaning, and this is Hoodoo. By the way, that's what that is. That spring cleaning, you getting rid of all of that old stuff to make room for the new. Spring cleaning is Hoodoo. That is what that is. By the way, Black people, that's your ancestral lineage, and it's knowledge that honestly, it got lost in translation. Okay. But that's what that is. Like, spring cleaning, the renewed season of spring cleaning is creating and making room for your new beginning, your renewal, your rebirth that happens at springtime. So you do the whole spring cleaning thing. Okay, well, that's how you're making room for new things in your life. Literally. That's how you're making new room. So, of course, capitalism has profited off of Hoodoo, okay, by saying spring cleaning, but that's our shit. That's our stuff. I just want y'all to know that that's our stuff. They stole that from us, by the way. They steal a lot of stuff from us, but that's us. Like, that's what our ancestors used to do. They used to sweep in front of the front door so that they can make room for new, especially around springtime. They were getting ready for a new season to happen. You have to get ready for that new season in your life. You can't expect for it to just fall in your lap, but first, you have to let go. 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 You got to let go. And I know letting go is scary as hell. It's so scary because you don't know what's on the other side. But I'm here to tell you, because I've been on the other side so many times, that I'm at a point in my life where I'm excited. I'm excited to let go. Like, when I know I'm going through a season of just shredding, I'm like, oh my God. It feels like high school again or college again, where I know I'm leaving a place because the season has ended and I'm about to step into a new season or a new chapter into I get excited because I don't know what's on the other side. I know it's going to be some adversity and some challenges because that's life, but I'm like, what's on this other side? And so when you prepare by releasing, you're truly preparing yourself for the other side. And the other side, y'all, is always amazing to be able to witness, especially if you didn't think you was gonna make it. Like, let's be real. You didn't think you was even gonna make it this far. You didn't think that you were ever gonna see this or have this experience. And so you made it to the other side, you let go, and now you're able to witness what's on the other side. You're in this season where you get to experience it. And it's like the best feeling ever. So you have to let go. I mean, aren't you a little curious about what's on the other side? I'm always curious. Like, I wonder what's on the other side of this. Now, listen, everything comes with balance. Okay. Because you don't want to get to a point where you're just letting things go because you're ungrateful. You get what I'm saying? Too much, caring too much, letting go of things too much as if they're just easily replaceable. There's always a balance with this. I just want to be clear on this. There's always going to be balance. You always have to find that balance. You don't want to just be letting things go, or you get certain gifts or you get certain things and you're not appreciated for them. Be appreciated and be in gratitude within every season of your life. But you also have to know when you're spiritually being led, okay, it's time to let that go. So it's something that you're going to have to get in touch with within yourself. How do you strengthen that bond within yourself to know that that's what you're being called to do? You have to spend one-on-one time with yourself. You got to sit with yourself. You got to bond with yourself. You got to get familiar with yourself. You do. At the core, first, you probably have a lot of trauma you have to get through first to get to the core of who you really are. But once you get to the core of who you really are, then you'll know how to move, how to operate. You'll know yourself better. Right now, you may only know yourself at the trauma level, but who are you beneath that? Because that's the core of who you are. So you got to heal the trauma, okay? You got to heal that trauma so you can get familiar with who you really are.
As long as you let them, and they will use shit like, oh, well, we've been together for so long, to manipulate you into staying stuck, okay? And it's not just men, I'm letting y'all know, like, same thing goes for jobs. A job will have you at the company for 20 years and abuse you mentally and emotionally that entire 20 years. And when you try to walk away, they're going to be like, but you've been with us for 20 years. What about all of your benefits? What about it? Fuck that. None of us make it out of this game alive. You are better off living a life that's fulfilling and one that you can wake up to every single day feeling happy instead of being miserable in places that you put yourself in. Walk the fuck away from anything and be willing to do it at any point. I don't care if you got somebody kids. I don't care if you got contracts in place. Anything. You have to be willing to come up off anything in this lifetime if it means protecting your peace.
And this is why I've always said that if I lost an opportunity, it was truly not meant for me. Like, honestly, I don't want nothing. Somebody could offer me $30 million. But if God was like, that's not for you, I wouldn't take it. You know, there's a lot of people out here that would take it. I would not take that. I would feel cursed. I just got to be honest with you. Because anything that you take that's truly not for you, then that means it's not in alignment with you. And when you're out of alignment, that's when bad things start to happen. I'm talking about bad things like you just being hit back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back. When you're in alignment, bad things still happen, right? But under the surface, it's meant to help you though, right? But on top of the surface, it's an inconvenience. I like to call them inconveniences. But some still may label it, oh, this is bad, this is bad. It's an inconvenience, but what is it teaching you though? When you're out of alignment, bad things just keep happening to you back to back. Those bad things keep happening to help you get back into alignment. That's why they keep happening. And so it just depends. Everyone's spiritual journey looks a little bit differently, but at the core, that's typically what happens. Like if bad things just keep happening, you think you got bad luck, it's because you're out of alignment. There's something that you're doing that is going against your alignment. And so you're out of your purpose. You're out of your path. Like you need to get back in alignment. You need to get back on path. And then you'll have things still happen. But every time you get on the other side of those things happening, those bad things happening, those inconveniences happening, you'll realize it was truly to help you grow. It wasn't to hurt you. It wasn't to put you in a bad place. Like it was truly to help you grow. But if you're the type of person where you just keep experiencing bad things after bad things after bad things, and then you get to the other side and it's another bad thing and another bad thing and another, you're out of alignment. You have to get back into alignment. Okay. Now, how do you know you're out of alignment? Your body will show you. Okay. Your sleep patterns will show you. Your body will just be off. I feel like your vessel will be so loud that you're out of alignment. Like seriously. You may have health issues. You may struggle mentally huge. Another thing too, I think journey to me, I want to talk about, keeping a space that's unclean. I used to be a very junky person. Like I used to just be junky. And as I developed more in my spiritual journey, I became less junky. Like I don't like just buying stuff just to buy stuff. I don't like clutter and all of that because again, this is also hoodoo. When your space is cluttered, spirits are attached to that stuff. Energy is attached to that stuff. And so how can you think in a space like that? How can you really think in a space if everything around you is just, it's like kind of making your world smaller, and then it's like closing in on you. It's like you gotta open up your windows. You have to open up your space. You have to clean up your space. I used to be a very, very junky girl. I don't know where I got that habit from, but through spiritual development, I have learned that when I clean up my space, even when I just organize it, like just organize it. Say I didn't get rid of nothing, but I just organized it. I could see things clear and things like it really helps your mental health. Like it really does. That's why I don't have kids, because I'm like, I would be a mad woman trying to keep up with making sure the house is organized and clean all the time, because it really does. I noticed how it affects my mental health, and I noticed that I operate better in a clean environment or in an organized environment. I would be the type of girl that would pay, I don't care how much money, to have someone come in and organize my space, to have it operate better, because that will improve my mental health. It's just something about that. So again, you can always take it slow, right? Like maybe you don't want to get rid of stuff because it's hard. Y'all, getting rid of stuff is hard. I am not. And listen, I want to make this known too. If this stuff was easy, then everyone would be happy. Like, right? It's not easy. You have to make it fun. You have to make it happy. You have to make it a happy experience, right? So when you're decluttering and stuff like that, make it memorable. Like turn on some music that you used to listen to when you were like 16 years old, 17 years old, and like really declutter. Romanticize your life. Like create happy moments with yourself. We're always focused on creating happy moments with other people, but create a happy moment with yourself where you're decluttering. You're listening to, who was I listening to? B2K. Pull out the CD if you still got it. Lil Bow Wow when he had the little pit bull on front on the album cover. Like, girl, make it enjoyable. Don't feel like you got to do these things like, oh my God, it's a task. It's a chore. I have to do this. You need to really, really get creative with your life. The life that you live and how you want to live it, no matter where you are in life, is truly based off of how you choose to create it. And you get a choice in how you create your happiness for the day. And if it's turning on B2K from when you were 15, 16 years old, then that's what you need to do, okay? That's what you need to do.
I just wanted to come on here and talk about how
I'm noticing that women do this a lot. And it's a bad habit that I see a lot of women have. But your feelings are not always true. And when I mean your feelings are not always true, it means your feelings are not always the truth about someone or something or a situation. You are confusing your feelings to be the truth of a situation, a person, or a thing.
Now, why do we do this? A lot of people feel like, oh, it's because women are emotional creatures. I feel like men are more emotional than us. I feel like women are mentally stronger. Okay? We are mentally stronger. Men are physically stronger, but when women are mentally stronger. And it's because we have to be. We have to do childbirth. We have to have menstrual cramps. We have to experience those things. And then men are physically strong, obviously for obvious reasons, right? But we women are mentally stronger. And so a lot of men feel like we're more emotional. But again, we're not out here unaliving people like they are. I mean, every day they're unaliving somebody. You know what I mean? Men. Okay. So women, if we were truly emotionally unhinged, we would be out here unaliving people more than men. So I don't believe that we're overly emotional. Sometimes we just allow our emotions to take over because we don't have any emotional self-control. We don't know how to emotionally self-regulate. Emotional self-regulation is all about being in tune with yourself and knowing when you are being hormonal, because hormones are huge. You got to know when you're being hormonal. You also need to know when you are being emotional because you're triggered or because your insecurities are flared. Like maybe someone said something, someone did something, and it triggered your insecurities. Okay. Or it could be a trigger when it comes to your trauma. Knowing how to self-regulate your emotions, knowing how to get to the root of why you feel the way that you feel. A lot of times we just react. We don't really think, we don't really self-regulate, we just react. And so when you react, you're not really thinking clearly because you just reacted impulsively. What I find that women tend to do is that we tend to be very impulsive with our emotions. And that's what's hurting us. And so how we're impulsive, right? We accuse people of things, or we think the truth about how we think the truth according to our feelings, and we're not seeking the truth, or we're not seeking understanding. So we just take on what our feelings are, and then we just apply it to the situation, and then it's not the truth. And we're not even leaving room for the truth to find us. We're not seeking it at all. We're just going with what our feelings are telling us. So you have to be able to self-regulate your feelings and your emotions, and you have to take a step back. If you're emotionally imbalanced, then you also probably are impulsive and you just react. And so you need to work on that. A lot of times the reason why women do this too is because we're so deeply attached. Again, check out that book, Attachment, okay? We're deeply attached. And so when we tend to react impulsively, it's because we're deeply involved and we don't know how to kind of just distance ourselves and not take everything so personal or internalize everything to the point where we're even forming feelings or emotions about a person, place, or situation. So learn how to take a step back and really self-regulate before you just react. And so a lot of times it's hard to communicate with women because they are emotionally impulsive. They feel attacked sometimes when you're trying to just communicate with them, but because they're in their feelings and they're in their emotions, they're not really trying to hear anything because they feel strongly about how they feel and they're confusing how they feel for the truth. And it's just so hard to communicate. So take a step back. Also, a lot of women wanted to know, well, how do we know when our feelings are true are not true versus when it's truly our intuition? And like I said earlier in this live, you have to learn how to let go. You have to learn how to detach. When you're emotionally involved in situations all the time, like, you got to learn when not to be emotionally involved, because then it can cloud your judgment when it comes to your intuition. This is why a lot of times too, I notice with women, when you get involved with a man and you start sleeping with that man, the reason why your discernment is not as strong as it was before you slept with that man was because your emotions weren't involved. Your feelings were not involved. You didn't give your body to that man. And so now that you've given your body to that man, your discernment is not as good as it was before. I've seen so many women on social media say, ever since I went celibate, or ever since I reframed from sex, I'm abstinent now, my discernment is so top tier. It's because your emotions are not imbalanced. This man don't have you feeling great one day and depressed the next. So you have emotional stability. You have created that within yourself. So your discernment is top tier because you're able to think clear. And so you have the clarity. Versus before, when you were giving your body to that man and he had you happy one day, you were happy and high on happiness one day, and then depressed and low the next. And so your clarity, it wasn't there because this man was kind of jerking you around. So you have to learn how to get in a better place within yourself when it comes to your feelings and your emotions. And you also have to learn how not to attach yourself deeply to people, places, things, and situations, so that you can allow your intuition to truly work for you, so that it can serve you to your best advantage. But until you learn how to detach and not strongly attach yourself to things all the time, then you're always going to be confused, or you're going to get mixed signals about, is this my intuition or are these my feelings? You have to learn how to detach, okay? You got to learn how to detach. And I feel like this is why women, to me, are more logical, because we have the foresight through our intuition. But a lot of times we allow our emotions to cloud that judgment, and it sends mixed signals. And again, that's why sometimes women are confused, or like, is this my feelings or is this my intuition? You have to detach, baby. Detach. Like, I cannot stress that. Detach. Once you detach, then your intuition is going to be way more accurate, to the point people are going to think you're psychic. So you have to detach, okay? And the reason is, when we attach ourselves, right? Intuitively, we want things to go a certain way, right? When you're attached, your feelings are involved. You want things to go a certain type of way. There's a level of biasness that's attached to that. When you detach, that level of biasness is gone. That's why you have the mixed signals, okay? So detach. And then the final step, let go. If something comes to your awareness and maybe you're in denial, maybe you just don't believe it. I just don't believe this. Let it go. Or I just don't want to believe this. Let it go. And if it comes back to you, and then you let it go again, and it still comes back to you, at this point, it's haunting you. Then you have to let it go. Then you need to, then you know what the truth is at that point. Okay? Because I've been in a situation like that. Like, there was this one time I was leaving this girl's house. I've never told this story time before, I don't think. But and this is why you have to heal even after friendship betrayal. Because this is how I got betrayed 3 times. Okay? So the first time, y'all know the situation with the 2 ex-best friends from middle school. Okay? Y'all know about that. But then there was another girl that I became friends with around the same time of these 2 betraying me. I became friends with this other girl. And I should have known because she was eager to be my friend. And at first I didn't think much of it, but at the time I was in such a low place that I just was like, ugh, I could use a friend right now. It was kind of like that. And so I let her come into my personal space. We started hanging out. We started chilling and stuff. We started doing things together. And then one day, before I go into the one day, but at the same time that I met her, I was dating this guy. And the same night that I met her, I met him. And so we started dating. I started becoming friends with her. They kind of grew up together because they served in the military at one point. Now, to give you context of their relationship, because a lot of people are like, when I further the story, a lot of people are going to assume that, oh, she must have wanted him or something like that. They were not attracted to each other. And partially I can understand why he was not attracted to her. And it was because she was very unladylike, y'all. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I've never met someone like those femininity courses. As much as I despise them, she would need that. Like she would be the type of woman that would just burp out loud in public. She would chew with her mouth open. She was very loud and like really boastful. She would chase men down to the point where they didn't want her. Like she was kind of like Nikki Parker, very, very like aggressive, and it was just not good. Okay. So every time there would be a guy that may show her a little bit of interest, like she would run the guy off. And it was because she just didn't understand how she came across to people and how it just wasn't attractive. But then also she was very insecure when it came to her weight. And so she would do like a lot of projections and things like that. So it was very uncomfortable to be around her, but I would give her grace. And y'all, this is why I don't give grace as lenient, because I didn't judge her. And I should have been judging her, but I didn't judge her, but I should have. And so that's really the backstory. I also asked them, I was like, have y'all ever like slept together? Have y'all ever done anything together? And the whole time they were friends, they never did anything together according to what they were saying. And again, it was believable just the way that she overall just carried herself. I mean, honestly, y'all, she would be the type of person where she'll eat. She was a very messy eater, but she would eat like onions and garlic and then be in your face. Like or she'll want to sit next to you. Like it was like that. It was a lot of that. So it was believable for that reason alone. And then she was dirty too. Like dirty, not in the sense of I am just unkept, like dirty in the sense of I don't clean for real. Like, I don't know how to explain it. She's very messy too. So it was believable. So with me saying that, right, I moved forward with dating him. But I noticed that she also wanted to use him. She wanted to use him because she had this thing where, because he wasn't attracted to her or whatever the case may be, she used him to get other guys though. So like what she would do is she would always want him to go out so that he would invite his friends or somebody that he knew, because he was very popular, very social. He knows a lot of different men and things like that. And so she would use him in that type of way. And so she would always try to sleep with one of his friends, or if he had somebody come into town, she was just like that. Very aggressive though, always chasing. And so that's why it was very believable. And so he knew her in ways that his friends did not. And so that's kind of the reason why he never dealt with her like that, which at the time, I didn't even know that. I kind of started to see like why he never dealt with her like that. So moving on. So after that, I started noticing that she started copying me a little bit. And again, I expect for people to copy me, because if I'm doing like tutorials or if I'm being this inspiration, I expect for people to copy me. But this is when it got weird. So I started picking up spiritually that she was saying things negatively about me to him. And so she was influencing him in a way to think of me or to look at me a certain type of way. She envied our genuine connection because it made him want to be a better person. So if he became a better person, right, he wouldn't want to go out. He wouldn't want to spend money. And another thing that I noticed too was whenever they would go out, he was always buying stuff. Like he would buy the table food, or he'd be like, oh, it's on me. Or he would go out to the club and he would buy bottles. It's on me. So if he wants to be a better person, like I got him eating healthy. I got him not wanting to drink as much. That ruins the fun for her. So I started noticing that she was painting me out to be like this negative person. And she was smiling in my face, being cool with me and acting like she was all for me. And she was so supportive. And then also she was trying to work me over. Yes, work me over she wanted me to get a storage unit with her. But she wanted me to get a storage unit with her so that she could have her fashion business. Like she saw me as an opportunity. She's an opportunist for sure. She was an opportunist with me and she was an opportunist with him, but they knew each other before me. So I never said anything because I felt like if I was to say something, then automatically the loyalty would go with her over me because we only knew each other for a short period of time, probably like 6 months or so. And so probably 10 months total, but I'm a spiritual person. So I'm just picking up stuff and I'm just like, so she wanted me to model for her. She wanted me to model on my Instagram. She also wanted me to open up this storage unit with her so that she could have her like fashion store in the storage unit. And she was trying to sell it to me that I could record out of that and we could split it and go half and half. But she wasn't clean, y'all. So I was just like, hell no. Like I'm thinking like, girl, you don't even keep your house clean. She bought a cream couch, y'all. She didn't even have the cream couch for a year, and it was so like dingy and filthy. So I was just like, no. I have nice stuff. I like, no. It just wouldn't have worked. And so I was like, oh, I'm thinking about doing my own thing. And she didn't like that. But she was really trying to use me. So his birthday came up and I didn't know until after the fact, but she strongly was advising him not to invite me to his like birthday thing. So, and I thought that was weird. She would come to me and she would text me about what she was going to wear, how she was going to do her hair and all of this stuff. And then she asked me, she was like, oh, has such and such invited you? And I was like, no, not yet. And she knew that she was talking him out of inviting me because if I came, he would act a certain type of way. And she didn't want him to act that way. She wanted him to act in his other way that maybe I've never even seen. Hell, I don't even know. And so she didn't want me to go because if I went, then certain people wouldn't get invited because he has these old buddies that he's cool with, drinking buddies and stuff. So it just would have been a different experience for her. So she talked him out of inviting me. Y'all, tell me why this girl had me doing her hair for free, knowing that she was sitting up talking to him about not inviting me, and she had me sitting up doing her hair. Y'all, I swear to God. Not only did she have me do her hair for free, not only did she talk to this man out of inviting me to his birthday festivities, she also had me help her pick out her outfit. And the whole time she was being two-faced behind my back. I just couldn't believe. So this is when I knew what was up. So leading up to the birthday, I'm leaving her house and this baby snake, it slithers across the concrete. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are the odds of me leaving her house at like 1 or like 2 in the morning and this baby snake slithers across the concrete? And I'm like, I freaking knew it. And by this time in my spiritual journey, when insects and animals pop up, girl, it's never a good sign. It's always a warning. It's always a warning. So I'm like, damn, really? But it was a baby snake. So it wasn't like she could threaten me in any type of way. It was just like one of those situations where it's like, she's a snake. So after that, I never went back to her house. And it's so crazy, y'all, because I think about how she cooked me dinner one time. She always tried to make it seem like she was just so supportive of me. She loved every little thing that I was doing and it was just all smoke and mirrors, y'all. She used me. That was it. And so his birthday came around, and also I was peeping too that I wasn't talking to him because we had gotten into a fight, partially probably because he was listening to her. So we had gotten into a fight on a Wednesday. His birthday weekend was that Friday. And so I started picking up on the fact that he didn't want me to be there. Obviously, that's part of the reason why we had gotten into that fight. And so I'm not going nowhere. Where I feel like I'm not wanted. Like I'll go, I don't care what it is. I'll go do something that I want to do. But I noticed that the whole time that his birthday weekend was going on, she made sure to record everything because she knew I was watching her story. I wasn't watching his story, but I was watching her story. And she did that on purpose because she knew I was watching. And it was the weirdest thing, y'all. Like, it was the weirdest freaking thing I have ever witnessed in my life. And so again, like, when it comes to trusting your intuition, you gotta let things go, and then you gotta watch for the signs. So when it came to her being this snake, like, I got the feeling, but I kept pushing it off. I kept pushing it off. And I couldn't shake it. Like, I couldn't shake it. Every time I would try to shake it off, it would always come back, and it would always come back. And I just could not shake the thought or the feeling that something was being said behind my back, something was being done behind my back. And then every time I would hang out with his group of friends and she would be there was always like this weird energy. And it was almost like I could pick up on the fact that I was always being talked about when I was not around. And so I kept shaking it off. And then that snake slithered across the concrete. And I was like, okay, I done let this go in so many different ways. And it's like, now I done got a snake slithering across the concrete. I'm like, okay, girl, you just gonna have to deal with it. So that weekend when he didn't hit me up the whole weekend, Wednesday probably to Sunday night, he was blocked because I was just like, absolutely not. Like, Sunday, I blocked him. I blocked both of them. I blocked them all at the same time because I was just like, I can't win this when you're being influenced by her. And that was the thing. She was threatened by my influence. She was threatened by the fact that I had a positive influence on his life. And she didn't like that because she was able to influence him in a way that could get him to do what she wanted him to do, which was basically just use him. And that was another thing, was the whole friendship group was threatened by me because they knew that they could use him, but if I'm there, then he's pouring into me and I'm taking away from him doing for them. Like, that's what it was about. And I was just like, this is crazy to me. So I've never been in a situation like that. But I ended up blocking the both of them. I ended up bumping into him at the mall, and he saw me because I was with my friend, and she was like, "Why is that guy staring at you?" And I was like, "Who is staring at me?" And she was like, "Him." I was like, "Oh." Walked up to him, gave him a hug, asked him, I told him, I was like, "I hope everything is good with you. It's nice seeing you." And I walked off. But I'm sharing that story because that's a situation where, again, if you're letting it go and you can't shake it, like, it just keeps coming back, it like haunts you that something's off or something's not right. It's truly your intuition. It's not you feeling insecure. Because again, I was just chalking it up as I'm just socially awkward, or I'm just being paranoid, or I'm just being overly sensitive or overly critical of them or myself. And the whole time, it was literally my intuition truly trying to get my attention and warn me that, yo, you can't trust any of these people. You can't trust any of them. So that's when you know, okay? It's like, if you cannot shake the feeling, and I was trying to shake it off, y'all. I tried to shake it off so many times, and I just could not let it go. I could not let it go. And I'll never forget, I think I was doing laundry and it popped up again. And I was just like, I knew then when I was doing my laundry that I was going to remove her from my life. Like, I knew then. I was just like, damn, like this, like it kept haunting me. And I was like, damn, like I'm trying to let it go, trying to let it go, trying to let it go, trying to let it go. And it just kept coming back. So, and again, I guess the nail in the coffin was the snake. And I knew after that to never go back to her house. And again, we live in these times where you got to trust those signs. Okay, you got to trust the birds. You got to trust the snakes. You got to trust the grasshoppers. You need to trust it all. All right, you got to pay attention to your surroundings. Sometimes animals will pop up in your dreams. Listen, take the warning. Do not dismiss it and push it off. Okay, take the warnings. All right, because then it could really come down to your life being in danger or something like that. Be careful about that. Okay, let's move on.
If you plan on putting yourself in the spotlight, or if you are in the spotlight now, you have to be ready for that moment when the world turns on you. When you aren't scared to put yourself out there, when you have a higher calling, a higher purpose to be seen by the masses, there are people who support and love you and want to pour into you, but there's also people who are silently obsessing over you.
And so this is what I started to experience, how my light triggered his friendship group. Okay. And it's so crazy to me because they tried to make it seem like I wasn't good enough for him. But then when I look back over the situation, I was like, but I never did anything. Like, if anything, I was encouraging, I was uplifting, I was supportive, I was this, I was that. But they tried to make it seem like I wasn't good enough for him and I wasn't this and I was that. And it was because of my light, y'all. It was the whole time. It was because I triggered them because of my light. And there was just a certain way I carried myself that really bothered them. Like, no, I'm not going to just get drunk and be sloppy. No, I'm not going to just carry myself just any type of way. And I'm not doing it in a way of being judgmental. And it's so crazy how a lot of times when we're the light workers, the healers, and the intuitive ones, we're so focused on not trying to judge people and try to see the good in people. And the whole time people are judging the hell out of us. Like, oh, she thinks she perfect. Oh, she thinks she this. And oh, she thinks she that. And the whole time, like, we're watching them do things that we would never do. But we're not watching them do things that we would never do and be like, oh, you living wrong. You're not doing. We typically mind our damn business. But it's so crazy how, on the other hand, it's like we're being judged and we're being made out to be something that we're not. And like people will literally pick us apart. And the reason they pick us apart is because they really do think we're perfect. They really do think that we're a goody two shoe, or they really do think that we're on some type of high horse. And it's all because we just choose to carry ourselves a certain way. Partially because, hell, we done been through shit. People think I carry myself a certain way because of good girl trope, or I want to be seen this way. It's like, no, I've already lived that life. Unfortunately, when I lived that life, I wasn't recording shit. That's it. I didn't have no phone to my face. Nobody was recording me while doing the stupid stuff that I was out here doing. But it's like I learned from that. So now I carry myself a certain type of way. You're just seeing me in the most evolved part of myself. But back then, like, girl, it was a hot ass mess. I don't know why people just assume, oh, I just woke up like this and this is just who I am. Like, no, like, y'all, I was out here doing dumb stuff. Like stupid stuff. That's why I had to do community service. I had to do anger management. Like, I had to go before a judge and plead, like, God, please let me get out of this one. I won't do this again. It's like, damn, but because I'm no longer that version, it's, oh, you think you're better, you think you're perfect, you think you're this, and it's just because I'm actively trying to better myself. And that was the thing with his friend group. They did not want better for him at all. But I felt like I couldn't say anything because I didn't know him that long. But when you're a spiritual woman, you see things, you know things, you feel things. You don't always know where you got that from. You second guess it at that because you're like, oh, like, where is that coming from? But then it's like you just see through people. You see through people's facades and things like that. And it's like his friends didn't love him. They loved what he could do for them, and that was it. And they loved using him. all the time.
Silently hating and disliking every little thing you do, and they wait until it's a little bit of traction of people who don't like you to hop on this bandwagon of, oh yeah, I never liked her, I never liked her, I never understand that when you're in the spotlight, you don't just attract people who love you. You don't just attract people who genuinely see you and value what you do. You also attract people who admire you but can't admit it, so they hate you. Ooh. You also attract people who never like you but who keep track of every little thing you do, every video you post. You know what I mean? Weird. So don't be scared of it, because it doesn't change the trajectory of your life. It doesn't take away your destiny. It doesn't say anything about you. It says more about people who are scared to let it know that they don't like you until they have somebody else that can back them up, until they're in a group and now they feel comfortable to be a hater because, oh, I'm not the only one, so I must be right. Like, no, that just means it's, 100 haters.
And y'all, and another thing too, you have a light about yourself when people literally feel the need to form groups to go up against you. And for the life of me, I'm like, why do people feel the need to literally form groups? And I realize it's because when you truly are authentic, you're a genuine person and you have good intentions, technically there's nothing really bad about you. So if they were to single you out and it's just them singling you out, then there would be more people on your side than their side, right? So they wait to see if there is some negative traction that is created around you in order for them to feel validated in how they feel about you, which is projection, emotional negative projections based off of their insecurities. But if they find the traction, then they feed off of that traction so that they can feel validated. Like this girl that I'm talking about, she still stalks my social media till this day because she's looking for validation about what she did. She was dead ass wrong. And like, this is the thing that kills me about people who do this weird shit. They are looking for you to do something wrong so that they can feel validated in what they did to you, because they low-key feel guilty about what they did. So they keep up with you in hopes that there's a scandal. They keep up with you in hopes that there's something that you do that would be like, aha, and that's why I said what I said. Da, 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 da. And so they'll literally gang stalk you and gang stalk you and gang stalk you until they find something. And so they nitpick and nitpick. Oh, look at that, or look at that, or oh my God, her teeth are crooked, or oh my God, you see her hair, it's so or oh my God, did you see her nails? Like, did you see her broken nail? They look for the slightest quote unquote imperfection to fixate on, to validate how they feel. Literally. It's so weird. And they'll just keep up with you and 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 keep up with you. Like, y'all, I literally have like more than 20 people keeping up with me. Some I know and some I don't know. Like, literally, they only know me because of what someone else has said about me. They don't even know me. It's very weird, y'all. It's very weird. And then I don't keep up with none of these people. That's what's even weirder. I'm being blindsided. I don't even know what's going on with them, but they know what's going on with me. Well, they think they do. So it's crazy. I'm saying all of this to say, because recently I talked about being gang stalked. I finally came out about it on social media. Like, the reason why I act funny on social media, like I'll be posting and deleting and I'll be moving here and moving there, is because I'm like, I want y'all to work y'all ass off. These people that are stalking me, I want them to work their motherfucking ass off when it comes to keeping up with what the fuck I'm doing. I just gotta be honest with you. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on this page, I'm on this page. Turn your post notifications on. I'm going to make you work since you want to keep up. Like, that's why I've been doing that. But now I'm moving out of that, because that's me being petty. I'm moving out of that. And I'm just in this space where I don't care. And that's, again, back to what I was saying. You have to get to a point where you don't care. You care too much. You care too much. You want to be liked. You want people to see you in your light. They don't want to. They're literally fixating on the slightest imperfection to validate their negative feelings and emotions about you. You're never winning that. Like, girl, your hair can be laid. Your outfit could be cute as hell. It's giving everything. It's giving the girl's life. And they'll be like, did you see how she walked? Like, prime example, right? Megan Thee Stallion. Aside from the fact that I don't believe she was on theme, right? She still looked good, right? And everyone wants to talk about her big toe. You see her big toe? Her big toe always gonna make an appearance. Y'all know that girl look good. Y'all know she look good. Aside from her being off theme, right? Y'all know she look good. Y'all know she look good. And that's what I'm saying. It's like people will literally look for the slightest imperfection just to validate their negative feelings about you. Instead of them just accepting that they don't like you and move on, they have to watch, stop, and fixate. They just have to do that. I don't know why people are like that, y'all. I don't know what that's about. Girl, I went to go look at her, her big toe making an appearance, and I was like, are y'all for real? And it kind of reminds me of Meghan Markle. Oh my God. There was a video of a woman on a podcast talking shit about Meghan Markle. She showed up with no makeup on. Yeah. She showed up with no makeup on, looking good as hell. And then the woman that's talking about her, she got her face all injected. She got her lips injected, her face injected. Everything's injected. And you could tell she has injections. She has fillers in her face. And it's like, girl, the audacity of you to talk about Meghan Markle, and then the audacity for you to try to talk down on her bare face. And girl, you got all these fillers in your face, all this makeup on your face, and she don't got none of that. And you're trying to speak down on her? Y'all, it's getting weird out here. Like, what is society turning into? Because Meghan Markle looks so good bare face. Girl, it's crazy. 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 Be careful out here in these streets. It's getting very weird.
Are they mean, or are they just sure of themselves?
I don't think so.
Are they mean, or do they just have boundaries that you find to be inconvenient? Are they mean, or do they not only match your energy, but they amplify it and return it to sender? Are they mean, or are they just too black, too unwilling to perform or put on a costume for you? Are they too woman? Are they too queer? Are they too this or that? Would they be mean if they came in a different skin?
Yeah, I get labeled mean all the time. And it's crazy. I'm honest. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just don't see the point. And that's the thing. It's like people like performers. I have accepted that society likes performers. And it's not even that I am trying to be mean. It's that I'm just being honest. And I'm just not performing for you. Like, this is how I regularly talk. Like, this is how I talk. And it's like, oh, you're being mean, you're being condescending, you're being this and you're being that. Are you not used to people being honest with you? Or are you used to people just being performers? And I swear, y'all, I feel like people are used to performers. They're used to performers. Or they're used to people pleasing. Because that's part of performing, right? So, like, they don't tell you no. So then because this person told you no, now you think they're mean. Or this person drew a boundary and now you think they're mean. Because you're used to performers. You're used to people accommodating you based off of what's popular. Or you're used to people going with what's popular. And so when someone goes against that, they're mean or something's wrong with them. And it's just like, are we for real? Like, are we allowing people to truly be themselves? Or are we only making room for people to be who we want them to be? And a lot of times I'm starting to see it on social media. Even when it comes to the girlies, when it comes to their makeup, their hair choice, their eyebrow shape, or just girls just being creative, people are policing their creativity. And I'm like, how are you policing somebody's creativity? Creativity is all about freedom and liberation. Like, why are we policing people and how they choose to express themselves creatively? Like, that's the whole purpose of art, is freedom, like liberation. Like, you're free to literally do whatever. You're free to create and express yourself in whatever way creatively that you want to do that. But we're policing people now? Like, y'all, it's getting weird. And then people are like, oh my God, everybody looks the same. Everyone's doing the same thing. Like this whole discourse where everyone is dressing the same now. Well, I'm like, y'all bully people if they dress differently. Y'all bully people if they choose to creatively express themselves differently in their own unique way. You're not really allowing people to be unique. You're only making room for performers, people who are phony and fake, who wear masks. So it's like, listen, you can't have it both ways. You gotta pick and choose. You gotta pick and choose.
Would they be mean if they were a different orientation and said the same thing? Who came to who? No, who came to who? Right? Because we ask a lot of questions and accuse a lot of people of having certain characteristics. But a lot of the times, it be you. If you are someone who exists within a marginalized body, especially a multiple marginalized body, and have multiple marginalized identities, you know what it's like to have a lot of people mischaracterize you because you refuse to be the character that they built in their head around people who look like you, who exist like you, who come from circumstances like you. And you have to challenge that notion on its head because a lot of y'all be projecting. Is that person mean? Or are you simply a bigot or someone who has a lot of internalized biases towards who that person is? QTNA, Quatina.
Yeah, I'm always mischaracterized. It's really insane. Like, I don't think I've ever been characterized correctly, but I'm proud to be able to say that because typically when you're characterized, typically it's based off of stereotypes. So like, I just don't fit the stereotype. Like, I'm not the cool black girl. I'm not the I'm not the girl that's always on rhythm. I'm not the black girl that's always on rhythm. Like, sometimes I'm off rhythm, y'all. I got 2 left feet, honey. Sometimes I'm very quirky. Sometimes my quirkiness can come off as me being ditzy. I'm just like the opposite of what people think. And it's so insane to me. But then it makes sense because when you're truly being your authentic self, you're always going to be mischaracterized. Like, you always are. There's no way around it. So you can't care. Again, detach from what other people mischaracterize you for. Like, detach from that because it doesn't even apply to you anyway. But sometimes we care too much about how others perceive us or how others view us or how others take us as far as like how we show up. We're always worried about not coming across like this or not coming across like that. But at the end of the day, when you're truly being authentic, like, people are going to mischaracterize you. And the reason is because, well, characters are literally pre-created for you to fit in. And so when you're being authentic, you're never going to fit in those pre-created spaces. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. So you have to embrace yourself for who you are and understand that those mischaracterized experiences are just part of you being authentic. And it's just part of it, y'all. You have to detach from how others view you.
People like fakeness more than authenticity, but they will never love fakeness, and fakeness will destroy you inside. Authenticity means putting your heart and soul out there and being willing to take a hit where someone's like, nah, not for me. And that there is normal and natural. You're not meant to get along with everyone, and not everyone is meant to get along with you. All of us here, we all have a similar interest when it comes to, say, self-help. Right? You're all here to work on yourselves, better yourselves. You see this road to self-improvement, and that's what brought you here. So we're all on the same page there. But if all of us here, we started talking to each other, like say it was a speed dating, like 1 minute each, but not dating, just chat. And you had to be fully real. Are there going to be some people you resonate with, you click with more than others? Yes or no? Yes. Does it mean that the people you don't click with, they are lesser people or bad people? No. It just means that there's this thing called natural chemistry.
Oh my gosh. And y'all, I be trying to tell people this all the time. I'm like, if somebody don't like me, I don't automatically think they're a bad person. I'm just like, we probably just don't have similar chemistry. That's it. That's it. Does not make them a bad person. But I swear, like, people internalize people not liking them. Like, oh, they don't like me. Like, why don't they? You shouldn't even care. If you truly are showing up in your authenticity, then you automatically know that there are people out there that are naturally not going to resonate with you. That's life. It doesn't make them a bad person. It makes them authentic. Well, I hope it don't make them fake and phony, but I hope it truly is just because they're being authentic. Like, that's it. So I'm never mad. Like, people expect for me to be mad when they're like, I don't like Yoni, I don't da. Am I supposed to be upset about that? Like, if you don't like me, it's truly because you're being truly authentic, I hope. Now, are there those incidences where people don't like you and then they form groups and it's just strictly because other people don't like you and so I don't like you and so it's just like that group thing? Yeah, but in most cases though, there are going to be those people where they don't like you and it's just a natural dislike. It's not because they're being influenced by a hate group out here. It's not because they just want to be your op and they want to just be at odds with you. It's just strictly because they just naturally just don't like you. But again, you can't care about that. You have to focus on the people who do, who truly are aligned and resonate with you at the soul level. Like, those people are always going to be there for you. So keep that in mind, y'all. Like, don't ever take it personal. Detach.
You complain about, you attract. That's why everything you hear people beefing about, they get more of that in their life. They've been complaining about the same thing for 5 years.
Same old same.
Yeah, because what you complain about, you attract. It's like that saying, you're giving it too much energy. Like, yes. This is real. Mind control, your own mind.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk about this again. A lot of times we create the reality that we live in based off of how we take things on. So right now, I'm going through a very challenging time in my life. And how I'm choosing to take that on is my way. Most people who take it on, they probably get depressed, or they probably take it on and they probably are miserable in life. They probably take it on and think that, oh, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. I'm taking it on with the approach of, I know this is making me a better woman. I know that this is preparing me for my next season in life. I know that once I get to the other side, all of this will make sense to me. But right now, I'm just in a season where I can't see that far ahead. Things are not going according to plan. Things are happening to me that are out of my control, and I just have to trust that it's working out for me in my favor. But a lot of times when we face challenges, we face adversity in life, we face things like, oh my God, this is not going my way. This is not the year that I had planned. I told y'all that at the beginning of this year, when I celebrated the fake New Year, right? I took that day on knowing that, okay, I'm going to have a great year because I'm going to make it a great year. Not because things are going to go my way and everything's going to go according to plan. And it's so crazy. I'm so glad that I took on that mindset because everything has gone completely out of order. Nothing is going according to plan, but that's life. Like, that's how life goes sometimes. And it's crazy. When people see my happiness, when people see my joy, and when people see my peace, they think everything's just going my way. No, and everything is not going my way. That's delusional. That is delusional. I am learning to go with the rhythm of life instead of going against the rhythm of life. So I'm allowing life to happen and I'm just catching on to that rhythm. That's it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to just ride it out. This is the rhythm that my life is in right now. This is the season that I'm in right now. And we just going to make the best of it. Instead of fixating on, oh, this is the rhythm that life wants to give me, but this is the rhythm that I'm in. I don't understand why life can't just get on my rhythm. It don't work like that. That's just not how life goes. And a lot of times we don't like to accept things for what they are. And we tend to fixate on, oh, it's not going my way. It didn't turn out my way. And so we sit in victimhood. You have to allow life to work for you. And instead of you feeling like you have to make life work for you, like you have to make it work for you. And so you're waiting on life to just work for you. And it's not going, it just doesn't work like that. So you need to get in the kitchen, you need to get to cooking, and you need all the ingredients that life gives you. You gotta make whatever you can make with that. But the thing about Black culture, African American Black culture, is that they gave us the ingredients and we made the best of it. We made the best of it. And you know what we made? We made mac and cheese. We made fried chicken. We made collard greens. We made yams. We made cornbread. Like, seriously, we made some good dishes. If you don't get used to just taking the ingredients that life is giving you at this point in time, at this season of your life, and just making the best of it, then you're never going to be happy. And that's why African Americans called it soul food, because they allowed to create from the soul based off of what life was giving them at that time. And so you have to learn how to do the same thing. It's in you. Some of you, it's in you. If you come from that lineage, it's already in you. It's literally in you. That's the saying, you make lemonade out of lemons. So get to work. Like, literally, like right now, I'm just thinking about everything I'm currently going through. I'm thinking about how I can make it work for me. I'm not thinking about how, oh my God, it's not working for me. Like, life is just not going my way. Like, da-da-da. I'm like thinking about how it's working for me. And then another thing that I noticed, when you take this approach on of, okay, I'm making this work for me, you do find new ingredients. You do. You actually do find new ingredients. Because you're able to multiply, because you're working with what you got. You're not focused on what you don't have. You're working with what you got. And then you find yourself discovering new ingredients, new recipes, new meals. Work with what you got. And right now we're in this recession. There's this recession. The ports are empty. A lot of people are wanting me to talk about that. And I did do a reading on my Patreon about that. And if you got the reading, people were asking me questions about preparing. Yes, you are being called to prepare. Seriously, you need to put aside things for yourself, coordinate with your family. This is why I really disconnected from the gender war. I was going through a spiritual awakening and I knew what was to come. First of all, there was going to be a huge divide among women. And you're seeing that, right? You're seeing how women are separating themselves from male-centered women because they're dangerous and they're not good friends. They're not good friends. They're not good support systems. A lot of times their advice is driven by what men want. So that doesn't make them the best advice givers, support systems, and things like that. So I warned y'all about the divide. The divide is happening. And it's women who are truly doing the work versus the women that are choosing not to. And that's a choice, right? It's nothing against them. It doesn't mean that we're better or anything like that. It just means we're here and they are there and we're just in two different places. So there's a natural separation, okay? And that already took place. And so we're here, right? But then you're also seeing men as a whole. And I knew it wasn't just going to be black men. It was going to be men as a whole. As you can see, like, they're going through a very challenging time. And if you notice, a lot of men are being forced into isolation by spirit. The collective energy for men, a lot of them are being forced into isolation to sit with themselves and to figure out what they're doing wrong. And the reason why they were forced into isolation was because that was the only way that they were going to actually work on themselves. The influence of the feminine energy was not enough. And so now they're being forced into isolation. As you can see, there's like this loneliness epidemic that's going on, and you're seeing a lot of people talk about that. So we already knew, anyone that's spiritually tapped in, you already knew that was going to come for them. A lot of people were calling it the winter is coming. Well, winter is here, girl. And they in isolation, baby, because that was spiritually guided. Collectively, they were being pulled into isolation. And typically, when spirit is pulling you into isolation, it's to really help you develop, and it's to help you to truly improve. And that the only way that can happen is in isolation. And it requires you to look at yourself. It requires you to really work on yourself. And so they're going through that isolation period. Hopefully they come out better. Some men are being forced into that isolation. They may not come out better. They may just come out more evil and mad. Just got to be honest with you. Not everybody comes out of isolation in a healthier place. So use your discernment, ladies, okay? But a lot of them are being forced into that isolation. And so another thing that's also happening in the world, if you notice, is that we're being stripped of holding tight onto material possessions, money. These things are truly losing value, right? Like money is losing value because it's harder to make it, right? So a lot of us are not wanting to focus on money anymore. A lot of us are not wanting to focus on material possessions anymore. We're wanting to focus on what truly matters, which is family, which is community, which is coming together and creating memories and doing things that don't always involve spending a bunch of money. You're also starting to see content creators not wanting to promote luxury brands and things like that, not wanting to shove products down your face every 5 seconds. They're wanting to be more real and more authentic and more genuine, even with their content creating. And to be honest, that is the future, because we're being reprogrammed for the new world that we're truly stepping into. Is preparing us to value things differently and to value or to put value into new things and to release the things that we once valued so much. We're releasing that. And honestly, we're being forced to because of the recession. And so a lot of things are happening. And yes, when it comes to the ports being empty, you do need to prepare for that. The last time the ports were empty, the Boston Tea Party, the revolution that happened around that time was what popped off. And so you need to prepare for that. Now, when I was tapping into the energy, what I got was we're going to see delays. I didn't get that we won't be able to get food at all, right? My issue that I got was it was very mixed about how people were going to respond. So this whole crisis is basically how people respond to it. So again, if we're doing things in moderation, then it won't be as bad. But if we're not doing things in moderation, people panic, people go out and they rush and they just buy up a bunch of stuff. Then other people see that, then it will cause a mass of panic, right? And you don't want that. So what I got in the energy was delays. So when you go to the stores, you'll notice that at the top shelf, there are no boxes. So if you go into Walmart, typically at Walmart, you'll go to Walmart and their inventory that they have left over, you'll see the boxes on top of the shelf, right? You're not going to see that anymore. So once you start going into the stores and you don't see anything on the top shelf, that's when you know you need to really start preparing. Go into your Walmart right now and see if there's anything on the top shelf. Your area may be good on inventory, but I was told to start buying things little by little. Water is the first thing I would buy. I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, okay, in the middle of a crisis, like ports being empty, ships not coming in, how would you prepare for that? And it gave me a whole list to follow. How would you also prepare for a blackout? Because the tariffs are also affecting electricity. So we could have a power outage. It's like your mama didn't pay the phone bill, so the lights are off. Well, we're in the middle of a tariff war, so the lights are off. You get what I'm saying? Or it could be some other type of blackout or crisis like that. I got that you need to prepare. You need to prepare. You don't need to panic. You need to buy things little by little. Also, I'm being told to also tell you to put cash aside. I don't care if it's $5, because $5 can get you to and from in cash. So if you have no cash at all, you can't get to and from anywhere because the only thing you have is a debit card. So make sure you pull out some money, stash it away for an emergency, whatever you can do. Also, if you have a budget, right? And you say, I only have $50. Put in ChatGPT, hey chat, I only have $50 in the middle of this crisis. What can I get with $50? I'm being so for real. It will literally break everything down for you. But the first thing it's going to tell you is water, because you can't survive without water. And even if you don't have any food, the only thing you can survive off of is water, then you have water. You get what I'm saying? So listen, stock up. Also protect yourself. I got emergency whistles. I got a pew pew. It's in my lockbox. I got pepper spray because I'm not trying to pew nobody. But I mean, if you try it, we can go there. But first, I'm a pepper spray your ass. I also got a little pocket knife. I got this survival kit. It's actually, they're on Amazon. It's military. So like it's a survival military kit. It comes with so many different things that you could use in the middle of a disaster, like a blanket that can keep you warm. I think it's a poncho that keeps you dry. Also like a first aid kit. It literally has everything in it. You can look it up on Amazon, and it's just everything that you need. I thought about getting just a basic first aid kit, but then I was like, I think this is more of survival. So I looked into survival kits, and it gave me more of a survival kit because you never know. You know, I may need to stay dry. I may need a blanket to keep warm. So it has all of that stuff in there that you can use. It has scissors. It has everything. It's like the small little bag, and I think it costs like $45. I thought it was a good purchase because it literally has everything in it. It comes with a pocket knife and everything. So it just has everything in there. So prepare your family. Also communicate with your family. I'm not saying contact old toxic family members or friends. I'm saying like the people that are really there for you, which I feel like another thing too, when it came to the collective, there was a shift where a lot of people were falling out with friends, 30-year friendships, where people were coming to the realization that, okay, this person really is not for me. All of that happened for a reason, y'all. Because we live in times where you need to know who is truly for you and who's not. Because you need to be around people that are dependable. You need to be around people that are reliable. And if you're still hanging around people that are not dependable, they're not reliable, if you're keeping in contact with family that's not dependable, not reliable, then you're not making room for people who are. So you need to let those relationships go. Let them go so that you can make room for reliable, dependable people. Because we're moving into a season where we're gonna have to lean on each other. It was another reason why I didn't want to be a part of the gender war anymore, because I knew that this day was going to come and we were going to need to lean on each other. Now, listen, some of these men are not safe. That is a fact that's never changing. The world looks the way that it does because of men being violent. That is a fact. But you need to get out here and see who's for you and who's not. Okay? Because if some real stuff was to pop off, you need to know who you can trust. You need to know who you can make a trade with, who you can bargain with. Because when I'm making my inventory, I'm making an inventory based off of, okay, if I have this, okay, I can trade this if I need something. Like, that's how I'm thinking. And you need to be thinking the same way. But what community do you have? Do you talk to your neighbors? Do you interact with them? Do they know you? Do they know something of you? Like, you need to start creating and forming and it doesn't have, y'all gotta be besties. Like, you don't gotta be besties with your neighbor, but hey neighbors, hey, how you doing? It's nice to see you. Know what I mean? Keep it light. So then if there is a disaster, you won't feel like you don't have nobody you can go to or ask for this or ask for that in the middle of a crisis. So prepare for that, y'all. Prepare. Also clean out your home. If you're going to buy candles, I'm going to tell you as a spiritualist to buy white candles. White candles can protect your home. If you're wanting to protect your home, don't be afraid to sprinkle some salt from around your front door. Sweep first from around your front door. Move the welcome mat from around your front door. Sweep away, from around your front door. And when you sweep out. Okay, it keeps people away from your home. It protects your home. Then sprinkle some salt. Okay, remove the welcome mat. Because if there is a crisis that happens and people are acting crazy outside, people are going to start trying to break into homes and things like that. So protect your home spiritually as well. You can also sprinkle salt in the corners of your home to keep your home protected. Light white candles to keep your home protected. Protect your home, protect your family, protect yourself, and make sure you bring it out that Bible, because at the end of the day, like, what's currently happening has already been told, and you can prepare yourself in the best way that you know how. And if you're prepared and you're educated, then you know how to do that. Use ChatGPT, use your Bible, use prayer, use scripture, use all of these things. These are all tools, these are all resources for you to put yourself in a better position to where you have peace of mind, because outside, y'all, it's just gonna get more crazy. All right, we're starting to see violence more and more and more and more. It's like the violence that we're seeing is demonic. Am I the only one that's seeing the demonic stuff going on? I think there was 2 incidences where 2 women were stabbed to death, and one man, I think he stabbed his girlfriend who had 4 kids, or no, 1 child, and after she put the baby to bed, he like stabbed her to death. I'm like, and it was because of, I think it was he was accusing her of cheating or something like that. I don't know. And he ended up aliving her, and it's like, how can you do that? And then the baby was in the home while he was doing it. Like, it's just, y'all, it's getting crazy out here. Okay, protect yourself. I heard about the serial killer. I heard that there was a serial killer. I heard there was a serial killer in Austin, Texas too. I forgot. They're calling him the River Killer or something like that. I don't know. I have to go look into that again. Don't be sitting in your car, y'all. People rob you that way. Just make sure you're checking your surroundings and things like that. There's a lot of stuff going on. Y'all are hearing the sirens in the back, y'all, because Houston has gotten crazy. Seriously, my live stream that I did last week, y'all heard protesters in the back, and I didn't even acknowledge it in the live stream because I didn't want to disrupt the live stream. But if you go back and you watch the video with, I was covering Dear Future Wifey, they were protesting in the back. So things are gonna get crazy. Y'all not hearing the sirens in the back for no reason. There's things always happening around me. Constantly, there's always something happening, and that's why y'all keep hearing the sirens and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. What else? Honestly, the best thing that I could tell you is just don't panic, protect your family, prepare, and you have nothing to worry about. That's it. Don't panic, protect your family, and prepare, and you will have nothing to worry about. Okay, there's nothing to stress about. There's nothing to be concerned about. Just prepare, and you will thank yourself later. All right. And again, people were asking me the time, and to be honest, y'all, the time has not been predicted. Like, how long is this gonna last? I can't see that far ahead. And again, like sometimes when you tap into energy, you can't see to past a certain point. And so right now, it's all about delays, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. Like, that's all I got. This is as far as I got. And I got warnings about prepare, and that's it. Okay. If someone, like, when I say God is merciful, but like, if you're not answering the call about how merciful God is being over your life, the grace that God has extended, and God gave him 31 years to get that together. It's like, I don't feel bad for what's happening to him, because I'm like, you have gotten grace time and time again, and you did nothing. You just thought you were able to get away with it. So you're going to see a lot of that, like in the media, politicians, celebrities. You're going to see a lot of that, like people just getting caught up with things that they were able to get away with for decades, honestly. So you're going to see a lot of that. I'm trying to think what else. This is the perfect time to really focus on what you're putting into your body. It's the perfect time to get healthy. It's the perfect time to really focus on your vessel. Okay. Redirect your focus, because if you're going to eat like high calorie foods, sugary foods, and things like that, it's going to put you in a state where it could cause you to get depressed. So you want to raise your vibrations by eating cleaner. And I know it's challenging, especially if you're the type where you're a stress eater like myself, or I don't know, like times right now, so much is going on, y'all, that you can easily get triggered. And so the only thing that makes you happy is food. Like, listen, I've been there. I know. So it's going to be challenging. And I told y'all, I believe the reading that I did, hell, back in January, I said this year is going to be very challenging for everyone. It's going to be a very challenging year. And it's just going to be one of those years where you're being tested, but it's preparing you for what's ahead. So embrace it. And I also talked about getting in the flow and allowing the things to just go with the current. Don't try to go against it. Go with it. I did a video about that. So again, I cannot stress this enough. Prepare, get in flow, get in rhythm with where life is going or where life is taking you right now. Don't fight it, and work on yourself. This is the perfect time to work on yourself. Like, honestly, it truly is. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Okay. And again, right now, because LL Cool J, he was saying, you get what you focus on, whether you want it or not. So again, even in this reality, the world can be chaotic as hell, but still in this reality, in your home, what you focus on is what you get. What you focus on is what you get. Okay. And I know some of y'all come from chaotic childhoods. You should be flourishing in this energy. Because we're the escapist kids. Like, we're the ones that would like literally go to our rooms and draw and dance and be in our whole imagination. Like, girl, you need to go tap back into that energy. That's what you need to do. You're the escapist kid. Like, you're the kid that escaped your childhood reality because it was traumatizing. And so you got into your artist bag, you got into your creative bag, and you created a whole new reality in your home to escape your childhood trauma. You've done it before. You are the type of person that you actually flourish in chaos. You do. And it's because, not because you like the chaos. No. It's because you're used to it. You've been in it before. You've created things out of nothing in chaos. So you can do this. Okay. You can do this. Oh yeah. The collective is definitely elevating for sure. Yeah, you can. This is the perfect, like, this is like, y'all, this type of energy is great for transmutation. It's really good for transmutation. If you see it that way. Like, there's so many businesses that can be created. There's so many creative ideas that come from this. Like, I'm over here painting again. And I never thought I would ever pick up a paintbrush. But it's so therapeutic. It's like, I need this. Like, I remember going to my room, escaping, and I would like water paint. So now I'm doing that to like calm the noise outside. For me, it's like I can get lost in painting. So just find your thing, and you never know what it may turn into later. So just get into it. Transmute the energy that's around you. This is how you create a new reality. You're either going to fall or rise. People are snapping and exposing themselves so we can move accordingly. Yeah, I noticed that. And people don't want. So just be yourself. We don't need performers. The performers, if you notice, they're falling. The performers are falling. And the masks are falling off too. As they fall, the masks are falling too. Because y'all, when I was looking into Shannon Sharp, I was blown away that he was able to get away with so much. I'm like, oh my God. It was crazy. I was like, oh, this is bigger than I thought. His situation don't have nothing to do with race. It don't have nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with his behavior. Okay. Y'all need to look into all of that. What else? Just prepare, y'all. Prepare your families. Communicate with your families. Protect your families. Protect your loved ones. I light candles for my family, my loved ones all the time. If you have a sick loved one, light a candle for them as well. Y'all know I light candles all the time. If you feel like you're lacking when it comes to motivation, staying consistent right now because of the chaos, do a candle ceremony. I will be putting that up on my Patreon. I just did one last night. And I also did something that I've never done before, but I activated a plant to help me with my fitness journey. So I activated my snake plant. Snake plants are really good for resilience. It's really, really good for adversity. Snake plants can survive in the most difficult conditions and environments, and I feel like that's just where I'm at in life. So I decided to activate my snake plant to go with me on my fitness journey. And I'm gonna have to show y'all how to do that. So basically, me and Venus, that's the name of my snake plant. My snake plant, her name is Venus, and Venus also represents beauty. So my fitness journey, we're redirecting it to make it about self-love. And self-love is all about doing things that are necessary, not always doing things that feel good. Like right now, y'all, I'm sore as hell. And so me and my snake plant, we're on this fitness journey together, and I activated my snake plant last night. And so my snake plant is going to grow with me as I grow with my fitness journey. So if I'm falling off, my snake plant is going to look like it's falling off as well. Like if I'm on my stuff and it's growing strong, that means I'm doing well with my fitness journey. So we're in it together. You can activate your plants if you want to. I've just done it. It's amazing. And I feel like you should try it out and then you talk to your plant regularly. I talk to all of my plants though. That's how they grow. They don't die on me because they're like, oh no, she's here. We see her, we hear her, we feel her. Our energies are intertwined. So just make sure you use whatever you want to do. Okay. Use whatever you want to do. I can't live in environments without plants. It just feels naked. It feels weird. I feel out of place. And it just doesn't feel normal to me at all. It feels like something's missing. I have to have plants. I can't live in an environment without plants. It will drive me insane. And so I'm also thinking about getting a money plant too, to also activate when it comes to my finances. Okay. Also, thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you. That's so sweet. 80. That is so sweet. What was I about to say? Oh, okay. So a lot of people are confused with my Patreon when it comes to the glamour and beauty workshop. I told y'all this workshop was going to look a little different. You're getting pre-recorded videos, and then we're going to do one big ceremony. The ceremony is like it's going to be a celebratory workshop. Like it's going to be big. Like I'm talking fruits. I'm talking wine, champagne. It could be mocktail champagne if you're not drinking. I'm not doing alcohol right now because I don't. Anybody else noticing how the things that you were partaking in before, it has a totally different effect on your body? I can't do alcohol anymore. I cannot do it. It makes me I get bloated. I become inflammatory. It's not good. My body never reacted like that to alcohol, but now it does. It's like very sensitive to alcohol. Can't do it. But when it comes to the ceremony, I'll just do mocktails or something like that. Or I may just pour up for my ancestors or something like that. But I won't be partaking in it because my body is not reacting the same. And I'm so in tune with my body where I'm like, that ain't it. My legs were swollen. My ankles were swollen. I felt heavy. My legs felt heavy. It was not a good feeling. And y'all, I wasn't drinking heavy. I was just drinking like seltzers and champagne. That's it. I had some rosé. That's it. But like my body is like so sensitive to it now. So I can't do alcohol, y'all. I can't do it. So you may be going through a season where maybe you were able to smoke, maybe you were able to drink, maybe you were able to do those things and it didn't really impact you at all, but now it is. And typically whenever this happens for me, it's because I'm elevating and my body is going through some type of upgrade. Another thing too was I was called to get blue lotus flower. So I drank blue lotus flower tea before bed last night. And I woke up this morning and I hear this whoosh, whoosh, like water sounds in my ear. So I don't know what the blue lotus flower is activating, but I just started drinking that and I'm gonna start drinking that before bed every night. It's supposed to help with you remembering your dreams. So I didn't really remember my dream this morning, but I feel like I have to keep drinking it. But me having the swish sounds in my ear when I woke up this morning, I knew it was working even though I couldn't remember what happened in my dream. Okay, so if you need that, get that. Blue lotus flower is really good for that. I also made a mojo bag for my dreams to put under my pillow. I put water under my bed. I did a whole little routine for that so I can help like remember my dreams, but still I didn't remember my dreams. Maybe I need to drink more tea. I don't know. I'm going to keep drinking tea, y'all. I'm going to keep drinking tea until I can remember. And once I figure out what works for me, I'm going to, of course, share it with y'all. But right now, I'm just trying to remember my dreams. I know I'm dreaming, but I just don't know what I'm dreaming about. The only time I truly remember my dreams is when it's like a warning or something like that. But outside of that, I don't remember my dreams, but I know I'm dreaming. What else? That's really it, y'all. That's all I really wanted to say. So again, the Beauty and Glamour Workshop, it's going to be pre-recorded videos. I have another video that I'm preparing for y'all as I speak to help you protect your beauty. So with glamour. So that's what we're going to be focusing on next. And I'll actually show y'all why it's so important, because I had a recent incident with the gang stalking, how negative projections and evil eye can actually affect your appearance. And I know this. Okay, so I used to record my workout videos and I stopped recording my workout videos. I stopped posting them because I wasn't losing weight. And I wasn't losing weight. I was actually like gaining weight. I had like water retention. It would like go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I just chalked it up as, oh, it's just my hormones. I just need to balance my hormones. But I noticed around that time where I just thought it was my hormones, I stopped posting my videos. I lost the weight. And evil eye and negative projections can literally be a blockage if you're not protecting yourself. And so I never knew how evil eye and negative projections can literally cause a blockage. Like seriously. So if you are posting yourself a lot and you feel like you're falling off, or you keep hitting like a roadblock when it comes to your fitness or your health, it could be because of evil eye. And you may need to change up your protection routine. You may need to add things. You may need to increase it. You may need to just protect yourself better. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that. And it's crazy. I just started doing the cleanse. Probably it's been 2 weeks now. And I'm already starting to see the changes. Like I'm starting to see the changes in my body, my skin, my nails. So let me explain to you what was happening. I was being gang stalked on social media. And I started posting more. Because normally I just stopped posting, but then I started posting more. Then as soon as I started posting, my skin starts to break out. But my skin wasn't just breaking out. It was breaking out like I was a teenager all over again. And again, here I am saying hormones. It's my hormones. It's not my hormones. Literally being like envy, y'all. That's what that is. So my skin is breaking out really bad like a teenager. Nothing I do works. Nothing. Dermatologist, nothing. I'm just trying all these things. I'm like, nothing is working. It's like, what the hell? I even did the 45-day juicing. That cleared it up, but then it broke out again. And I'm like, I'm not even eating bad. Like, what the hell? So brushed it off like it must be my hormones. Like, but then I'm like taking the wild yam cream, using that every day. It wasn't until I started protecting my beauty. Y'all, it's insane. So like on the side, was it on this side? I started going like I felt like my hair was going bald right here on this side right here. So I've started experiencing breakage. My nails were unhealthy. They were just breaking and brittle. Then I started breaking out on my chest. I don't break out on my chest. Then I started breaking out on my forehead. I'm like, I don't break out on my forehead. Like, what the hell? Then I started breaking out on my neck. Then whenever I would get my laser hair removal, I would get little bumps on my legs. Like I would just break out. It would itch really bad. Like I was having all of these weird side effects. And so something told me I need to protect my beauty. So I started protecting my beauty. There's this ritual that I do, and I'm just going to share it with y'all on my Patreon so you can protect your beauty. But ever since I started doing the ritual and stuff, my skin is clearing up. My hair is growing back. What else? My nails are thickening back up. Everything's changing. Like everything's changing back to where it was before. So make sure y'all are protecting yourselves when you put yourself on social media. And this all started when I started posting myself more. That's it. I just started putting myself out there more. And ever since I started putting myself out there more, then all of a sudden I started having these issues. My nails going bad. And if y'all notice, I haven't had nails. I'm thinking, oh, I just need to take the nails off and stuff. And so I did that. And then I went and got my nails done after they were getting healthy again. And when I went to get my nails done, they were damaged all over again, as if I had not gotten them back healthy. It was insane. And I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? Like, this is so weird. So you have to protect your beauty. You do. And your beauty is not just your physical vessel. It's also like, you have to understand like how your mind works and how you think. It showcases your outer appearance. And so if people are like wishing bad on you, they want you to fail and things like that, that can affect your mental, which can also have an effect on your physical vessel. So anything in this life that's beautiful, it has to be protected. That's why roses have thorns. You can't just go and pick up a rose. You will literally hurt yourself. You will hurt yourself. So you have to create that protective barrier around yourself. And this is not the season to hide. This is the season for you to stand up for yourself and to protect yourself and to actually fight back. Okay. And if you need to get in there and you need to do some things, then that's what you need to do. You need to protect yourself. You can't just allow people to keep dimming your light and having, like, basically the evil eye and the envy stuff is to keep me from posting, but I'm supposed to be posting. I'm supposed to be seen. I'm not supposed to hide. So you have to come out of hiding, and you need to learn how to protect yourself. And if you got people that are monitoring your every move, and this is the craziest thing, it's just on Instagram. I don't have this issue on YouTube. I don't have this issue on TikTok. I only have it on Instagram. It's just Instagram. I don't know what it is about Instagram, y'all, but Instagram is such a negative place. It's so negative. It's so negative. And there's like monitoring spirits on Instagram. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's it about, but it's just heavy monitoring spirits on Instagram. So you have to learn to protect yourself. Don't stop posting. Don't hide away. Protect yourself. Detach so you can stay winning. Okay? This is about you winning. This is about you winning. They want you to stop posting. That's what that is. And you have to. And I used to think that if I used the filters, I would protect myself. But girl, that stopped being enough. And then I'm picking up on people zooming in on my photos and zooming in on my videos and stuff like that. So that's why the filters are not working. So I'm like, hell, I might as well come from behind the filters, because I used to use the filters to protect myself. But now I might as well come from behind the damn filters. Don't be afraid to use your block button too. Don't be afraid to use your block button. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. So I'm going to be helping y'all with that. And then also I'm going to be showing you how to do different things when it comes to self-love within the beauty and glamour workshop. So you're going to get more content like that. Okay. So that's all that I have regarding this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this type of content. This is the content that I love to create. This is the content that I like to do. But unfortunately, y'all, it don't be paying the bills. And just like y'all got to go to work, I got to go to work too. So I'm going to be back on Real Talk with Yoni, of course, probably today, to make sure these bills get paid. But this stuff feeds my soul. Like, I have to come over here. It feeds my soul. Sometimes work gets a little crazy, and so I have to come away from this platform. But honestly, y'all, like, this keeps me sane. This keeps me balanced. I get to talk about other things that I'm truly interested in. This is what I love. This feeds my soul, y'all. And I appreciate the ones that come over here and y'all support the vibes over here, because this is my vibe. Like, this is what I love. Real Talk with Yoni, like, that's my vibe too. But it's like, I like this more. I just do. And it just resonates with me spiritually to the point where I feel good. I feel excited. I feel happy. And I just feel so excited to create. So, and then Patreon too, and Discord too. I appreciate everyone for supporting those spaces, because I truly feel seen for who I really am, versus Real Talk with Yoni. That's when I get mischaracterized. So I appreciate y'all for locking in with me, tapping in with me on this page, because this is the page that I love and I feel seen, and I feel like this is my tribe over here. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you in my next one.